It's chicken blank suspended him on Friday afternoon.
I did not like that.
I'm with you.
I also don't like the suspension. To me, if you're going to suspend him, you do like the NFL does. Like if you want to punish him, don't let him coach during the week. If you're suspending him, you say go home.
Yeah, it feels like they're trying to toe the line.
I would have, if I would have announced whatever on Friday, I would have said effective Monday. He's suspended for the rest of the Big Ten season, including the championship game if they make it. And you stay home. How about the interim coach? How about that little 32-second post-game clip?
Yep.
Be 2 F-bombs and a shit and tears. Profess love to Jesus, Harbaugh, everything Michigan. That guy's set for life. Life. He's the greatest assistant coach in Michigan history. Are you kidding? Wild Sunday. Hell. It's been wild since lunchtime Friday. You got it, John. Boy, that was whoever has the ball last game. Man. Defenses didn't show up. Oof. Oof.
The Lions just went for another 4th down.
Did you want them to take the points early, Mark? Or were you all for when they didn't get it, the 4th and 1 on the goal line?
I was fine with it.
Quarter? Yeah.
How about all the coaches down 9 going for 2 instead of kicking the extra point? I don't care what the analytics say. It's simple effing math.
Yeah, well, James,
especially when it's late. If it's late third quarter, whatever. I'd still.
I don't even buy that because what happens in a game? Do the defenses get better or do they get worse, David?
They get worse.
Do analytics factor that in? Because I don't think they do.
Of course not.
It's late fourth quarter. You need 2 scores. You get one of them. You kick the extra point. You got to make it a 1-score game. Don't give me you may not, there's not enough time to get 2 possessions.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. Hope you had a great weekend. Has anything happened since we were last on the air? How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. We only have one guest today because we need time to get through as much damn material as we can. And I don't know if 4 hours for Southwest Florida and 3 hours along the network is enough time. Mark, good morning. How was your weekend?
My weekend was tremendous. Obviously, a lot of football. And boy, oh boy, did the games deliver, and the story started before the games.
Well, let's go there. So lunchtime Friday, early afternoon Friday, the suspension of Harbaugh happens, effective immediately, and he's suspended for the rest of the regular season. So that's Penn State and Maryland, Ohio State. That does not include the Big Ten championship game. Your thoughts on what Tony Petitti and the Big Ten did?
Well, like you, David, I hated the timing of it. I thought that doing it after Michigan had already left for Happy Valley was a bad look, to say the least. But give the Big Ten credit. I didn't think there was any way to galvanize this Michigan team any more than they already were. But throwing this out there on Friday, you even gave them more oxygen and more energy and more things to be angry about.
Oh, they are the victim now.
Absolutely.
They went from cheaters to victims. Big Ten did them a favor. Now people are discussing whether or not the Big Ten has treated them properly. Got the rest of the Big Ten going, they've been cheating for 2.5 years. And now you're worried about them? But, Mark, we are in agreement. Thursday's one thing. Friday, didn't like it, didn't like the timing. I would have been okay if they announced on Friday that Jim Harbaugh is suspended for the rest of the Big Ten season, championship game included if they make it, effective Monday. Then they go, they coach the game, they come back. He spends all day Sunday prepping with the team. And by the way, my suspension would have been the NFL suspension. Jim be done. Like, he'd be home. They're not in the building, not coaching the team during the week. Okay. I don't think this is much of a punishment, to be honest with you. I mean, I know Michigan's making it out to be the biggest thing. Michigan, I think you're getting off easy. I really do. You cheated. You gained an advantage by doing it. How much? It's up for debate. But you cheated, and you gained an advantage doing it. And for a long time, including the early part of this year, and your coach gets suspended for 3 games, and he gets to coach them all week, just not for 4 hours on 3 Saturdays? I mean, and the team gets no penalty whatsoever? I mean, come on now. Of all the things that could have been on the table, you're screaming and yelling to the volume that you're screaming and yelling over this? I mean, I got to be honest. To me, this is light of all the things that could have been done to Michigan. On a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 3 or less. But the timing was a bad look. I'll give you that. But, I mean, he still gets to coach him in the Big Ten title game? And he gets to coach him all week? Wow. I got to admit, I don't think – Mark, I think it would have punished Michigan more if they had suspended the coordinators for the games and said to Jim, you're fine, you can coach. No, both coordinators, they can't coach. I actually think that would hurt Michigan more. Maybe I'm nuts.
No, I think you're right, because that's the play callers on both sides of the ball. He's not calling plays.
No. Now, he can, and there was a time when he did on offense, and I'm sure he would take it over. But I don't know. I actually think the punishment's light, easy, not that painful. I mean, if Jim Harbaugh came down with an illness, if Jim Harbaugh had to go have surgery and was laid up for a couple weeks, so on game day, he was up in the press box or in a suite. I mean, that's essentially what it is right now. I know he's not going to be in the suite, but he'd be around the team and coach them all week. He'd prepare them for the game, and then he wouldn't be on the sidelines. How inconvenienced would you think Michigan would be if Jim Harbaugh had to have surgery and he couldn't be on the sidelines for the rest of the regular season? That's essentially what this is. It's not that big a deal. But man, is it being made out to be a big deal. Whoo-wee. Mark, I don't know if a college football team has ever gone through more. And listen to the Michigan people. I don't know. Maybe I just see it differently.
Well, I think a couple of things. One, I'm in agreement with you that the suspension could have been a lot heftier. I'm curious as to how the appeal process will play out this week and if Harbaugh ends up behind the bench somehow, some way. I'm betting that he will, by the way. I'm betting that they win whatever injunction they file and that Harbaugh coaches again, because this soap opera wouldn't be as good otherwise.
How about if he wins the temporary injunction, but the Big Ten's able to win so that the following Saturday he can't coach, so that he gets to coach the Maryland game and not the game. The game.
How much does it affect Michigan? It didn't affect them at all against Penn State. Not one bit. That's, of course, because, well, Penn State's coached by James Franklin, and that's an advantage for the opposition in a big game.
It is. It is. You know, what is it? Is the interim coach for Michigan here? He's got as many wins over top 10 teams as Franklin has now, right? Because Franklin had the one in 2016 when they blocked the kick and beat Ohio State. I think that's how many wins James has against top 10 teams. Here's my favorite, though, and James wasn't the only one that did it this week. You're down 9, and it's late, and you go for 2. Could somebody do the math for me again? See, you're down 2 scores, and you have a chance with a 94%, success rate of making it a 1-score game. Why do you try the coin flip play? Explain the analytics to me how that's the better play, especially with so little time left in the game. No, I'd love to hear somebody mathematically explain to me how going for 2 with that little time left in the game is the better percentage play.
I have to correct you because it was a lot. Franklin only did it when they were down 5 in the second quarter. I mean, that was the first time he did it because they closed it from 14-3 to 14-9, and he had to make it a 3-point game in the second damn quarter.
Right.
You're chasing points.
Right. Okay. So he wasn't down 9 late, and okay.
I mean, he did it again. He had to do it again, but it started. I mean, you're right in what you're saying, David, but it started because in the second quarter, down 5, he felt he had to get – I apologize. You're exactly right in what you're saying, but you have to go back to why he even had to do that in the first place. Chasing points in the second quarter. Are you kidding me?
Boy, coaches were going for 2 in the fourth quarter, down 9 all day Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck? Who's teaching math at your school? Get them out of the classroom. So, yeah, Michigan using it as motivation. Jim Harbaugh, the victim. I thought,
Michigan, the victim.
Right. Michigan, the victim in all this. Not the rest of the Big Ten, Michigan. Right. I know. Although I will say, how about that interim head coach? How about that post-game soundbite?
Don't repeat what he said.
No, can't do it. 2 F-bombs and an S-bomb, and he thanked the good Lord and Jim Harbaugh and every single thing about Michigan, and threw in 3 expletives in 32 seconds. That's the best post-game sound of the year right there. Difficult to imagine there's going to be better post-game sound for anything the rest of the season. And then tearfully producing on the fly, too, saying, you talk to this guy, and walking away.
And Corum there didn't, he picked up right
where
the assistant left off.
Yep.
And thanking everybody at the University of Michigan.
Yep. Totally. They are galvanized. They are united. This could be the greatest championship in the University of Michigan's athletic history right here. This really could. And this is fun. Listen, when you got people in SEC country paying attention to what's going on in the Big Ten and getting a kick out of it, okay, you got a story. When you got SEC people elbowing each other going, well, you look at what's going on here. I'll be damned. Now we're talking. Yeah. Cheating, threats of cheating. I'll sue the conference. Well, we'll sue you and we'll suspend you. What? Hell, we haven't even played the game yet. And then how are you going to play the game? I'm going to run the ball for 2 hours. Not even going to call a pass play. Here, you think we're cheating? I'm going to come to the line of scrimmage. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to run right. We got one guy in the backfield. We're going to give it to him. You ready? Stop it. You blankety blanks.
And Penn State couldn't. By and large, Michigan ran it down their throat.
That's what I thought J.J. McCarthy should have done late in the game. Actually, he should have gone to the line of scrimmage and say it loud enough so we all could have heard. We're going to run left.
Miller and Moulton. Chris Landry will stop by to break down some film. The starting 5, 25 minutes away. Thanks so much for joining us on a Monday morning right here on Miller and Moulton.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Just had a Penn State fan text me and said they would have hurt Michigan more if they suspended James Franklin. They're funny.
Yeah, Mark, I went to Backstreets, but I watched the bulk of the game at Rusty's. Have you heard of Rusty's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them.
There were a lot of. Oh, sorry. I didn't know it's a chain. But there was like a ton of NFL there. It was every game.
I don't even know where the Cape Coral Rusty's is.
Yeah, I had no clue that that's a thing down here.
Yeah, there's one literally in the
100 yards from where you
100
are.
yards from us.
Okay, great. Shows how much I pay attention when I'm driving here in the dark.
Well, I could certainly see how you wouldn't notice it at about 5:15 a.m.
But that was cool because there were a lot of just random NFL fans there. But the only thing that kind of sucks about that is you don't know what people are cheering about
Right.
at any point.
That's Florida for you.
Yeah. Just different, you know?
Mm-hmm.
No, gone. No, they met yesterday morning, shook hands. He left the building. They'll send the boxes to his house. Gone. $77 million, by the way. And there's virtually no way to get out of it either. Now, this AD didn't hire him.
What a win by the Browns, too.
Oh, my goodness. Could the Chiefs have had a better day? Jags get whacked. Ravens lose in a shocker. They get that game clearance in the loss column.
Big day for the Steelers.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know if I can bet on them anymore. That's too nerve-wracking.
Well, did it close at 3.5?
No. I won. No,
Yeah, they covered.
That's the second back up the truck in the last 3 weeks in which I won by a half late. I took teams laying 3.5, and they both won at home by 4.
Cover's a cover.
Yeah, it was. And it was a winning week because of it. I went 4-3. You were 2-1 going into Sunday. How'd you do?
2-3 going into Monday.
Oh, that sucks.
I told you I didn't like the Sunday slate.
No, you didn't.
Nope, he didn't.
No.
Lee had a terrible week. Lee's had a bad year.
On our show.
No, he's had a well, let's see. His 40-unit plays.
Although, no, didn't he get the 40-unit play wrong? Was it the 40-unit play Kansas?
Yeah.
I don't know what his pro play was, though.
I got to find it here. What was the final on the Seattle-Washington game?
Seattle by 3.
I know he did the total, though.
Oh, 55. It was over.
So he hit at that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good day for Tampa Bay.
All right, coming back.
Whew.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Hope you had a great weekend. And thanks for starting your week off with us, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. I'm in Buffalo. Hey, man, it's clear in 39.
You doing wings for lunch, or did you do them yesterday?
I did not do them yesterday. I had a very nice dinner with Pete Lonergan, longtime college basketball coach. He and I broadcast a bunch of games together over the years, and he lives in the area. He was happy because he's a Steelers fan. Man, Mark, that's a nerve-wracking team right there. That just
I know.
I mean,
I watch the games. My wife's a Steelers fan. I have a ball watching her get all nervous and worried.
Well, every one of their games seemingly comes down to like the final 4 minutes. I mean, can they ever either just lose by 10 or put a game away?
They're the Vikings of last year. Every game will be a one-score game, and a close one-score game at that.
And they're going to win most of them, but, oh, man, never mind if you're betting on them and you're laying points. I mean, that's a team in which the half a point is big. But anyway, so had a very nice dinner with him. And I have a feeling that there may be a midday order of wings in my future.
Good for you.
Yep. All drumsticks too. I'm an all drumsticks guy if I have the preference. Like if that's an option, I'm an all drumsticks guy.
We can eat wings together. We're wing compatible then, because I'll take all the flats.
Oh, you will?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. I'd say we order about 50 of them and just go to town.
Get right after it.
Trent, you have a preference? You know? You stealing his wings or mine?
I like the flats.
Okay.
But I like them all. I really don't.
Oh, great. I
had
can't wait.
But I don't
wait
really
to have
want 'em.
wings.
I want them
with
both,
the
to be
two of
honest.
you.
So
I can't wait to have wings with the two of you. You two will be, and I'll have them all to myself. That'll be great. Fantastic. So it's supposed to be, for what it's worth, windy tonight. Mid-40s and windy. I don't think it affects Josh Allen very much. He could throw the ball through a tornado, but, windy is what they're saying in mid-40s. I'm just going to throw this out there. Bills have not covered their last 5 games. So if you think they're going to whack Denver, obviously lay the 7. But if you think it's going to be some kind of a game, you may want to go the other way because Buffalo hasn't been covering lately. They're 3-6 against the spread on the year. That's it. That's my Monday Night Football preview. But that's why I'm in Buffalo. So, wow, we're suspending college football coaches and we're firing college football coaches. Wow. Damn.
Jimbo's run at A&M is over. We're done.
Apparently, the end of the Ole Miss game cost him his job. The AD was watching the game, the blocked field goal, and when they lost, the AD just decided, we're just too mediocre. We're just running in place. And so he met with the president of the university, who I'm sure said, you do know it's $77 million. And the AD said, yeah, me and the boys, we'll take care of it. President's like, well, you better take care of it. I ain't giving you any of the money. You sure about this? He goes, yeah, I'm sure. And I guess they had like a 5-hour meeting on Thursday, like the Board of Regents or whatever the heck they are. And apparently it got hot. This was not unanimous at all. So the AD sticking his neck out on this one. He let everybody know, no, this was my call. And I'll come up with the money. And, if any heat's coming anybody's way, it's coming my way. Got it? So there's a new sheriff in town in College Station, Mark, and his name is Ross Bjork.
Well, congratulations, Ross. You got done what you wanted to get done. I don't know really what you expect. Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I know what you expect. I don't know if what you expect is obtainable at Texas A&M.
Why not? I'm just asking. I'm not questioning. It sounded like I'm questioning. I'm not. I'm just asking why not? Their facilities are tremendous.
And
all
their
right?
money has money.
Right.
And if that's all it takes, then they're going to be good. But
And
we've been
obviously
through
there's a
this
lot
with
of
A&M
talent
for a
around them.
decade. We've been through this for a decade with A&M.
Oh,
Where we have the facilities, we have the money, and we're going to keep firing coaches and trying to get out of our way of being better than 8-4.
Correct. And he had the 1 year, unfortunately, he had the 1 year with Kellen Mond. They went 12-1, and he finished 4th in the country, but the one was to Alabama, so they represented the West. So, Jimbo had the one terrific year. And then every other year was a lot of 8 and 9 wins for the most part. I thought he was going to get one more year for this reason, Mark. I actually thought Jimbo has had some bad luck. He can't keep his quarterback healthy. And how many top 10 programs 3 years in a row have lost their starting quarterback? Now, you could say, well, A&M is not a top 10 program. Yeah, because they don't have a quarterback. I mean, they had no chance of competing with what they have to compete with. They've been playing second and third string quarterbacks most every game for 3 years. So I just thought, and to me, with the way things are nowadays, like he lost a decent amount of guys. Remember, he brought in the number one class in the country, and he lost a decent number of people right away. But then he kept them together after last year. And I would be worried now that 24 guys might get up and leave, because I actually think they're decent. If you put a quarterback on that team, you wouldn't want to play them. Put it that way. Like, I think Texas A&M can match up better with Bama and with Georgia than Ole Miss. Bud Elliott was right about Ole Miss. Lane's doing an amazing job. He can't get it better than what he's got it. He can win his 9, sometimes 10 games. He's all flash. It's tough to have substance at Ole Miss. It just is. Look at what he's competing against to try to get those big boys. It's tough. I mean, Ole Miss on their best day, the 9th best program in that conference?
Sounds about right. Money's no problem there either.
No, it's not, but it ain't A&M money.
No. Alabama doesn't have A&M money.
Well,
they don't, David. A&M has more money than anybody else in that conference. They have the most money.
They do.
If we are ranking this in terms of cash, and you might want to add Texas next year too, but A&M and Texas are the two big boys cash-wise in the SEC now. Here's that loud and clear, Florida Gators.
Yep, exactly. Oh, yeah, we'll get to you. Don't worry. We got plenty of time. And UCF, don't worry. We'll give you credit. All right. Terrific win. Man, it would be nice if you held on to that Baylor game, right? We'll get back to that. But you mentioned Texas. I'm just curious. They'll never admit it. How much of Texas, Mark, dare I say it, being back has factored into this for Jimbo? That if Steve Sarkisian was posting an 8-4 season, you think would have gotten one more year?
With 3 quarterbacks in line at Texas.
Right.
The current quarterback, the kid that filled in from him, and this Arch Manning guy.
Right. A&M's going, we'll take any of them.
Any one of the 3.
Whichever one of you guys is unhappy, we got playing time.
I got 2 words for you. Transfer portal.
College Station. Hello. So
yeah, 70, all of those things. I think it was a little bit of a perfect storm for Jimbo. But do you think they can be a top 2 program in the SEC?
Well, put it this way. When Nick leaves, I think they can. I really do. I think when Nick leaves, that all bets are off. I really do. I think when Nick leaves, Alabama's not going to be Alabama anymore. I don't think they're going to come Nebraska and Miami. All right. But I don't think that Nick's successor is going to keep them where they are. And then I think that's a game changer. The starting 5 is next. Thanks for waking up with Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Well, and Sonny, and we'll get to it, but the Canes also now set the bar that Florida has to match against Florida State. Because Knowles fan was paying attention to that game. And they saw Miami trading punches with Florida State. And so now they're going to get their shot at Florida State at home, and they're going to see how well they trade punches. And they at least have to trade punches the way the Canes did, or else Florida fans going to be unhappy. Oh, wait, hold on a second. I think Jalen Daniels just scored again. Whew. I saw a little history on Saturday. There had never been a running back in the SEC to rush for 200 and catch 100. They've been playing the SEC for a long time. And Cody Schrader from Missouri did it. He's 5'8", 214. DC, everybody says Napier's safe except me. Look how quickly it ended with Jimbo, by the way. Seriously. It took 5 days. Nick Tahoe's garbage plate. Huh. Yeah. I will say, I don't think you should hold anything against a husband for what the wife does. No, come on, Sonny. Give me a break. They're thrilled with Josh Heupel in Tennessee. Yeah, Florida State's a hell of a second half team, aren't they? They're that boxer, man.
They
just beat rounds 7 through 12. They take it to you, man.
They're trying to be the Eagles.
That's not a bad
program
to emulate. They haven't lost many games in the last 2 years, Mark.
No. For that matter, neither is Florida State.
Ooh.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. We got a lot of ground to cover. So let's get to it. It is time now for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
week's off to a good start, baby. That's striping that first drive right down the middle. There you go. Way to go, Trent. Way to go there, big fella. Where the heck was this last week from the Tampa Bay Bucks, huh? They played defense yesterday. Made Will Levis look like a rookie. 4 sacks. Blitzing a rookie quarterback.
Blitzed the quarterback, David.
Where was this against the Houston Texans? Tampa Bay, dominating performance, even though Mike Evans had the dropsies from time to time. Baker Mayfield looked pretty good. Tampa Bay 20-6 over Tennessee. The Bucks are 4-5. Tampa Bay had a great day yesterday. They won, and seemingly everybody else in the division lost. We'll get to that in a moment. Hey, the San Francisco 49ers showed up in Jacksonville.
With their whole team.
Don't know who those imposters have been for the last month, but man, oh man, the Niners showed up. That team's pretty good. Jacksonville, 12 first downs, barely 200 yards of offense. The Niners, they like their quarterback, Mark. They look pretty.
They did. You know, they added this young guy to the defensive front, and they seem to have the ability to get to the quarterback often.
Well, it's funny because for 3 games, they couldn't get near a quarterback.
Nope.
And then all of a sudden, they got near the quarterback again. And I mean near him, like on top of him, through him, sat on him. 34-3, San Francisco. Both teams are 6-3. And speaking of the Houston Texans, how about C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans, baby? They're just a game back of Jacksonville in the South. They went to Cincinnati and outdueled Joe Burrow and the Bengals. How about that? 30-27. Houston wins late again. The Texans are 5-4. They started 0-2, you know. They have a rookie quarterback. Just saying. Crazy happenings in the AFC North yesterday. So Baltimore's just kicking the tar out of Cleveland. I mean, they were up 14-0. You could still hear the anthem buzzing in your ears. 17-3 after one. They're leading by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. This game, baby, is over. Not so fast, my friends, as Lee Corso would say. Cleveland with 2 touchdowns and a field goal. One of 5 NFL games yesterday decided by a field goal at the gun. Boy, this league has got it going on. Cleveland, with their first 2-touchdown fourth quarter rally in years. What a big win for the Browns and Deshaun Watson. Doesn't he now, Mark, today for the first time feel like he's the quarterback of the Browns?
Had a great second half, great fourth quarter.
Mark, you're not going to believe this. Do you know who he looked like? Deshaun Watson. Remember that guy? He used to play for the Texans?
He did. In the second half, he started looking like Deshaun Watson again.
Yeah. And if that's the case, with that defense, that team could be scary. That team could be a handful. Cleveland improves to 6-3 with the win, and they dropped the Ravens to 7-3. So Jacksonville lost and Baltimore lost. The Chiefs are laughing their you-know-what off on their bye week. They picked up a game on their 2 teams who were chasing them for the 1 seed. Man, the Steelers are driving me nuts. They covered. They were laying 3.5. They won by 4. But Jordan Love and the Packers actually looked decent for a while. What the heck? And the Steelers then offensively, they looked good for a while. And then, of course, the second half, and they just nothing. 23-19, though, Pittsburgh improved to 6-3. They're the ugliest 6-3 team in the league, right?
Absolutely.
Now, I wouldn't tell that to their face because I think they'd kick them out of me, but they are the ugliest 6-3 team. Do we think they're like Penn State and Ole Miss? You know, that they'll post a good record. Well, that they'll.
You're not a fraud because they have a great defense. But I know what you're saying. But because of the defense, no, I don't.
Okay, here's what I meant by Penn State. Penn State's going to be 10-2, but they couldn't beat the good teams. Do we think the Steelers can beat the good teams?
No.
So are they Penn State then?
They're close.
Okay. This just in, the Lions had the ball last, so they won. There was no defense played for the final 2 hours of the Lions-Chargers game. It was fun, though. Teams look good in those uniforms. What's Trent wearing today, by the way?
What do you think he is wearing? He's wearing a Lions hat with the Lions shirt. He's probably got Lions underoos on for all I know.
I just didn't know what color, what number. Is he Barry Sanders? Is he somebody on this year's team?
I've not seen a jersey yet out of Trent. He doesn't go, Felipe was more of the jersey guy.
Right.
Trent's just the gear. It's a black long sleeve T-shirt with the Lions logo on the breast.
David, I got sick of buying jerseys of players that either sucked or left.
That's a good point, Trent. That's a smart decision. Okay.
Yes.
Because their players have been like turnstiles there. So that's a dadgum good point. 41-38 Lions. They're 7-2. Mark, your Chargers, well, they're Chargersing. And Staley keeps getting upset in the post-game presser when the reporters have the audacity to ask about his defense. He's taking it personally. Coach, you gave up 41.
Right.
You're in charge of the defense. Who else are we supposed to ask about this, by the way? I'm just curious. All right. You want me to talk to John in the corner taking care of the towels? I mean, who do you want me to talk to? So another game decided by a field goal at the gun. Seattle beat Washington 29-26. Seahawks are 6-3. Don't know if they're any good or not, like the Steelers, but they're 6-3. Kyler Murray made a difference for Arizona, led them on the game-winning drive. They kicked a field goal at the gun. They beat Atlanta 25-23. A couple of tough losses back-to-back for the Falcons. New Orleans is going, whew, thank goodness for the Arizona Cardinals. Because, well, we got Josh Dobbs. We got Dobbs. That sounds painful, doesn't it? What happened to you? Oh, man, I got Josh Dobbs. Really?
I got dobbed.
Yeah. Is there a shot for that? I don't think so.
It is a shot.
I mean, I could, trade a 6th-round pick and get a 7th back, but once again, Jets fans, you shouldn't have gone out and tried to do better than Zach Wilson. You know, the Vikings,
It wasn't his fault. They're taking too many penalties. It's not just Zach's fault, David.
Okay. All right. I don't know. Josh Dobbs with the Jets. What do you think the Jets record would be right now? Back to the Vikings. They started 0-3. They're 6-4. They whipped up on the Saints at home 27-19. We may be seeing Jameis Winston in the short term. Derek Carr got hurt, re-injured that shoulder. Now, we all know the head coach hates Jameis Winston. He has buried Jameis Winston. Winston signs of life, though, yesterday, threw a couple touchdowns. And, well, he pulled a Jameis Winston, and he started throwing to the other team. So we'll see. Let me tell you, we sent our best damn product that we could overseas. Oh, I'm sorry. That was last week. We sent the Chiefs and the Dolphins. Man, Colts, Patriots. 10-6 Indianapolis. Colts are 5-5. Does anybody think they're any good? But they're 5-5. That's all that counts. Patriots are 2-8. And believe me, they deserve to be 2-8. They're terrible. I do love it when there's tantrums on the sidelines, though. When there's pouting, when there's coaches yelling at players, when there's players getting up and walking away in disgust, giving that passive-aggressive look back at the coach. Now we're talking. Now we're a bad team. Now we're about to splinter and fall apart. That's what I'm talking about. Patriots have a bye week. Some people think Belichick's going to be fired later today. The Patriots play the Giants. I mean, come on. I'll tell you what. If I'm
loser, leave town.
No doubt. No doubt.
I mean, this is has all the remnants of a big-time wrestling matchup right here.
I mean, this is an elimination. The loser gets relegated. How about that? Patriots, Giants, losers relegated to the USFL or whatever they're going to call that spring league. Giants lost to the Cowboys 49-17, and the game was not that close. Dak with 5 touchdowns. Dak's like, can we play the Giants more than twice a year? Wait, we're done with the Giants? We don't play them anymore? Damn. Didn't they beat the Giants 89-17 this year in the 2 matchups?
That's the number.
Cowboys are 6-3. Bad news is they don't play the Giants the rest of the year. The Eagles still get to play them twice. And Sunday Night Football, hey, you're not going to believe this. The Jets played, and they didn't score a touchdown.
They scored 2. And they both got wiped off the board because one of a penalty, one because the guy stepped out of bounds just shy of the goal line. And they couldn't get either of them in.
Josh Jacobs with 112 yards rushing, but he did have a late fumble, which gave the Jets a chance to win until Zach Wilson threw an interception. 16-12 Vegas, they're smoking cigars, and they're 5-5. So Jimbo gets fired at Texas A&M. Boise State figured we'd get in on the act, too. They fired their head coach because they're 5-5, and they're not the cute, lovable story anymore. Hey, James Franklin fired his offensive coordinator after losing to Michigan. And Georgia's number 1 in the AP poll for the 22nd straight week, which kind of makes sense. They haven't lost since 2021, right? And yet in the college football playoff poll, they're number 2. Hey, the Heat have won 5 in a row. They beat the Spurs, 118-113. Wemby, not bad, though. 18 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. He's 19. That seems like a pretty good performance to me. You know, the Clippers haven't won since they acquired James Harden.
Good.
They lost to Memphis, and that's the Grizz only second win of the year. It is. They're like 2-8. By the way, the Sixers have won 8 in a row. Tyrese Maxey with 50. Did you hear what happened to Kelly Oubre of the Sixers? He got hit by a car over the weekend. He's got broken ribs, and he's going to be out a couple months. NHL, that Connor Bedard kid, he loves Florida. He had 2 goals, 2 helpers against the Lightning. He had 2 more goals against the Panthers. Florida was able to win, however, 4-3. Rangers beat Columbus in a shootout 4-3. Mark, Dallas beat Minnesota 8-3, and the only reason I'm telling you that is because they scored 5 power play goals and 2 shorthanded goals. 7 goals on special teams out of their 8. It's only the second time in the history of the league that's ever happened. College hoops, St. Mary's on the men's side, they're nationally ranked. Not any longer. They lost. Second-ranked UConn on the women's side got beat by NC State.
Wow.
Yeah, 92-81. And the Canes women improved to 2-0. They beat Fordham. Villegas did it. Man, what a life he has had in the last 5 years. He lost his game. He and his wife lost their daughter tragically to illness. He was announcing he was so done with golf. He's come back. He's grinded. 2 weeks ago, he finished second. This week, he won the Butterfield Bermuda Championship, $1.2 million. I know it's one of those fall events. I don't know what kind of status that gives him. Man, I hope it gets him as much status as possible. Kid's been through the grinder. Max Homa, by the way, a winner on the DP World Tour in South Africa. He won by 4. And the Annika, that's Annika Sorenstam's event in Florida, American Lilia Vu, who's now the number 1 player in the world. She won by 3. And the women are coming to Naples, right, for the season-ending CME Group Championship. And at 8 minutes before the hour, gentlemen, that was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
Mark, I did leave out one important detail. A&M fired Jimbo. Here's the breakdown. They owe him $19.2 million within the next 60 days.
Right. That's what the boosters are coming up with, from what I understand, right? That's the nut the boosters have to be able to come up.
Merry Christmas. Open your wallets. $19.2 million. And then he will get annually through 2031, $7.2 million annually, or $600,000 a month through 2031.
He's my hero.
You're going to see him in Southwest Florida pretty soon. I mean, he's going to be hanging out.
I know.
Just hanging out. Flip-flops, shorts, golf shirt.
Might play a round or two. Might even put golf shoes on.
Yeah, he might. Here's my question, though. If he's wearing one of those team shirts, which ones does he put on? Will Knowles fans let him put the Florida State shirt back on?
He's got to go plain. No teams until he gets that next job.
Now that Florida State's back, will he be accepted? You know, he did win him a natty.
Doesn't matter.
I know. Is this Urban all over again?
All over again, because he left that cupboard bare. He did them dirty, David.
He did. He quit on him.
Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
Yeah, hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Jason and Todd are excited to kick off the holiday season at the Diamond District with their biggest diamond event of the year. This weekend, November 17th, 18th, and 19th, Jason and Todd rolled out the red carpet for you. Come view the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. Many jewelers talk about selection, but no one walks the walk like Jason and Todd. With over 6,000 square feet of showroom filled with stunning fine jewelry. They'll be in the store all weekend to work with you personally and make sure you get the lowest prices on all fine jewelry, GIA certified diamonds, diamond engagement rings, bracelets, diamond studs, and more. Takori, America's top bridal designer, will join the Diamond District with her entire collection of over 500 new bridal designs. If you're in love and want diamonds, now is the perfect time to visit the Diamond District. Jason and Todd will also throw in 3 years interest-free financing on what they promise to be the lowest prices on diamonds anywhere.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
No, Paul. No, they're a package deal. It's difficult to imagine. Would you let Scott Strickland hire his third football coach? That's why. It's like being president of the United States, and you're doing a really good job on a bunch of things, except the economy. The economy's not doing well. Do they give you a chance to get the economy right, or do they go, "Hey, man, sorry, appreciate it, but we got to find somebody else"? Mac, I agree. Although I think, didn't they appeal like a week or so ago and ask to be made eligible? Jimmy Sexton, Mac. That's who negotiates. Nick, Jimbo, a lot of contracts. Jimmy Sexton. Brian Kelly is the one responsible for Jimbo's contract, because Jimbo signed that 10-year, $75 million contract. And nearly 2 years ago, when Brian Kelly was leaving Notre Dame for LSU, A&M stepped in, first off, because they thought LSU was going to hire Jimbo. And then Jimmy Sexton told them, $7.5 is not enough. The top coaches are making $9 and change. And they went, oh, okay. And so Jimbo suddenly, they gave him an extension, 4-year extension, and they gave him a raise.
31, right?
Yeah. 4-year extension, and they upped his salary from 7.5 to over 9. You want to stick with college, or do you want to go to the NFL? Because we haven't gotten to Florida State, Miami,
or
Gators,
Florida, or UCF.
Right. Want to do that here?
You want to do that here, or do you want to do it at 7:30? Is the only thing, and do it longer. Your call.
Do it. Well, we're going to do that. Want to do NFL here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do college at 7:30.
All right.
There it is, everybody. Big time production.
That's
30 seconds left in a commercial break.
Actually, we didn't even get a time cue from Trent. I mean, that's how much planning we put into this hour.
16 seconds. 12 seconds.
Take it easy, big fella.
All right, here we go.
listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Monday. Might as well call it a football Monday.
Football Monday?
That's a little different than a football Friday.
What is Football Friday?
Right. Versus a
Football Monday?
Well, just recapping all the football. You know, there's no baseball. Nobody's into the NBA this time of year except Trent and Felipe. All right. You know, nobody's into college basketball this time of the year except Trent and Felipe and like 8 people along Tobacco Road and in Lexington, Kentucky. I mean, you know, so there's not much, you know, got a few puckheads out there, but basically this is football season, baby.
Yes, it is.
And it was a hell of a day in the National Football League yesterday. Five games ended with field goals at the gun. 5. That's almost half the games that got played yesterday. That's outrageous. Man, I mean, what? Houston to Cincinnati, Cleveland to Baltimore, Detroit to the Chargers, Seattle to
I think
Washington.
the Lions just went for another 4th down.
And converted.
Now, you're implying that maybe Dan on the short list for Coach of the Year, Campbell, okay, maybe went a little too far yesterday.
Not when you go 4 for 5 on them.
I was going to say.
4th and 6. Hey, you know what? We'll run it and we'll get it.
I just didn't know if Dan, short list for Coach of the Year, Campbell, was like that jump shooter in which the coach is going, no, great shot, get back. I mean, is that kind of what Dan was doing when you two were watching going, what is he doing? Wow, okay, good call. Way to go.
I never once did a what is he doing? I went, he's doing it again?
That's the thing. When you watch him every week, David, nothing shocks you with Dan Campbell. You're just like, all right, he's going for it. I'm not going to kill him either way.
Just
What
Lions at this point also. I mean, what can a coach do that would make a Lions fan go, huh, that's something? I mean, really.
And the other side of it is that any fan base would love this of their coach. But as soon as the play happens, you get the sideline shot of the head coach. And the first word you see out of his mouth is an F-bomb followed by a yes. Every time. Every time.
Isn't Dan, and I'm saying this in the best way possible. I mean this as a huge compliment. I would love for Dan Campbell to be the coach of one of my teams. I would. But isn't Dan almost a little bit of like a college mascot that when they go to the sidelines of him, that, I mean, isn't he like a bulldog frothing?
He's the entire, he is the face of the franchise, the coach.
But he is with the Lions head on him and a little drool running out of the side of it. I see exactly what you mean.
I mean, Trent, I feel like Dan Campbell's the LSU Tiger pacing in the cage. I mean, I really do.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, Dan is Mike the Tiger. That's what Dan is. Okay, intimidate you, motivate you, scare the heck out of you. How's it going? It depends on how he's pacing. If he's pacing a lot, not good. If it's a slow pace, he's just enjoying the action. We're doing okay. So, hey, do not take my joy away from me, all right? All right? Please don't do it, okay? Because just for this moment in time, this is how bat blank crazy the National Football League is, okay? Right now, before Monday Night Football, when the Bills can leapfrog this team, do you know who would be in the playoffs in the AFC right now?
The Houston Texans.
Okay, say that out loud.
The Houston Texans.
Yeah. What are we, 10 weeks into the season?
Yes.
The Houston Texans are a playoff team in the AFC. Remember, there's the tougher conference. The Houston Texans. Holy blank. Man, what a job D'Amico Ryans and C.J. Stroud and company are doing. Whew, and these are not, I mean, they went to Cincinnati, beat the Bengals. Bengals were banged up at wide receiver. Really? Is that enough? I mean, come on. It's a hell of a win. And now because of it, they got the tiebreaker on the Bengals if it comes down to a wild card. And these North teams are all going to be playing each other, beating each other up. Can Houston get to 10? Can Houston post 10-7?
David, if they make the playoffs, would you give D'Amico Ryans Coach of the Year?
Yes.
Oh, please.
I think he's in line for it already.
Plus, also, that's who they give Coaches of the Year to in all sports. They never give it to, Pat Riley when he was winning and Phil Jackson when they were winning in the NBA. No. They give it to the guy who takes a 34-win team and goes 51-31 with them.
David, if I've got this right, the Texans the rest of the way only play 2 teams with winning records.
And one of them's Jacksonville, right?
They've got the Jags at home, who they already beat.
Right.
And they've got the Browns at home. They play at the Colts, who are 500.
Correct. Yep.
So could they get to 10? Yeah. As a matter of fact, they could.
And that 10-7, and if Cincy's 10-7, Texans got the tiebreaker now. And you look at Cincy's schedule; they got some games. They got
starting
most
this
of the
Thursday in Baltimore.
Yeah, and then they got to go to Jacksonville in early December. I mean, the Bengals still have a schedule out there, and so does Buffalo. That's why Buffalo's got to take care of business tonight. Buffalo loses the tiebreaker right now to both Houston and Cincinnati. They're technically the 9 seed heading into tonight.
There's a lot more B-, C+ right now in the AFC than what we expected, though.
I'd agree with that. I do think there's something that we, not just Miller or Moulton, but all of us need to keep in mind. And we say it every year, but we usually forget it right before the date. It's Thanksgiving and post-Thanksgiving is where the separation really occurs. And it happens every year. That's when we go from pretender to contender. And it happens Thanksgiving weekend and beyond. We're getting close. It's another reason why Miller and Moulton had pounded the table. We need to bring the trade deadline closer to Thanksgiving. Because the oil doesn't start separating from the water yet. But it will here real soon. AFC is fun. That's a jambalaya right there. I just want to keep ordering it. Honestly.
Right, because you've got some surprise dishes that are on the special menu that you thought this was going to be lousy, and the Houston Texans came out.
And for that matter, the Colts and the Raiders now are 5-5. I mean, we have no idea how this is going to shake out. Hell, half the league right now is being quarterbacked by second and third stringers. All right. I mean, we had 5 games, field goals at the gun yesterday. That's never happened in the NFL before. I mean, this league's, I don't know, Mark. They seem to have it figured out.
They really do.
Man.
Give you the red zone for 2.5, 3 hours and then hone in on the games that are close. They've figured it out, David.
I will say both conferences have 6 teams that are 6-3 or better. So the jambalaya is really for the 7 seeds. And right now, I don't think there's much of a jump. I mean, really, the Vikings are pretty clear that the Saints and Falcons and I guess Tampa Bay are going to fight it out for the South. And they're probably not going to be the second place team with a good enough record to take on Minnesota. Remember, if the Bucks can get their act together, they did beat the Vikings head to head. Week 1. Just remember that. Does that come into play? And boy, how much better would you feel about Tampa Bay if they had just held on against Houston? Oh, boy.
A lot of that. I mean, we can point at Tampa. There's a lot of teams that have blown games. You bring up, we talk about Houston, but that Cincinnati game will come back and bite them one way or another, whether it's for the division, whether it's for a wild card. Boyd dropping that pass that puts them up 4 instead of tying the game on 3rd down. Those are the plays that come back. You look back at a season and go, can it be just one play? Yeah, as a matter of fact, it can.
Especially since if Cincinnati goes on the road in the playoffs, does anybody think they can't? That's where they've done all their damage the last 2 years, basically. He's been on the road. I mean, does anybody think Cincinnati can't show up and beat anybody? in the AFC? Of course they can. So they literally just need to get in. But 6-6-3 teams in the AFC, 6-6-3 or better teams in the NFC. And then just madness. Madness.
But I thought yesterday one thing happened to change everybody's mind. The Niners, who we had soured on a little bit, came into Jacksonville and just pounded them.
Whew.
That was the most significant win of the weekend.
Whew.
To me, Saturday or Sunday for that matter. The Niners reestablished themselves as an elite team in the National Football League.
Ooh, you know what? Nomination for a poll question. Best football win of the weekend. Niners over Jacksonville, Michigan over Penn State, and then try to come up with a third. That's just throwing it out there.
I like it. I like it. Well, you know where my vote is, because San Francisco, to me, that was big. Because Jacksonville, look at their offensive line's a little banged up, but what had Jacksonville done? They'd played great defense. They'd showed you they could win on that side of the football, and they had nothing for the Niners.
No, Niners toyed with them, really.
They really did.
I mean, remember, Jackson won 5 in a row. They had a week and a half to prepare for that game. Yeah. So, great win for San Francisco. They stay atop the West. Could come down to, by the way, Lions or Niners for the 2 seed. Just saying.
Be a huge deal for the Lions to get that 2 seed, try to give themselves an opportunity to play a little lesser team. The Niners can take on anybody. But
Anywhere.
just not only that.
Right. But, just throwing that out there. The Eagles don't have an easy road the rest of the way, by the way. The meat of their schedule is coming up. But if you're giving them the 1 seed, it would be interesting if it comes down to Detroit versus San Francisco 2-3. And then that obviously determines who hosts the other, theoretically, in the second round. And the AFC is just madness. Baltimore and Jacksonville both losing yesterday. The North tightening up, 3 teams tied in the loss column. Whew. Fun stuff. Miller and Moulton. We'll get back to college football in about 25 minutes here on the Florida Sports Network.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Best football win of the weekend: San Francisco over Jacksonville, Michigan over Penn State, Houston over Cincy, Cleveland over Baltimore.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's got to be 4 because I don't think there was no other in college, right?
Big Ten over Michigan or Big Ten over Harbaugh? No.
No, because Michigan won and used it to help themselves. But I think you can throw that out there when we read the question. It's a good line.
Thank you.
It's a very good line.
KW, that's Christmas night, Baltimore, San Francisco. Monday Night Football, Christmas night. Ravens, Niners in Frisco.
Speaking of which, you're fine doing a show the day after Thanksgiving?
Yes.
But not on the 26th.
It would really help my life if I could take a red eye.
Yeah.
And, obviously, if you want to do a show without me.
Trent and I may do a show on the 26th.
I mean, the flight that I could book, I'd actually be available during the show. During most of the show, actually, I'd be waiting in an airport. But the thing is, I have to get back on Thursday and fly out lunchtime to head to El Paso for the Sun Bowl Friday. Doing the show Friday, though. And then we have a Saturday NFL game.
So, Trent, you have 3 best ofs that you have to put together.
Pressure's on.
Well, the Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, as we get closer, I'll try to find the most, because I'm sure you
3 best ofs. Hell, you guys don't have 3 best of segments. I got to put together 3 best of shows. Holy blank.
Yeah, I don't really want to wait till the last minute, but it's also like the stuff that you guys talk about the week of Thanksgiving would probably still be relevant.
Yeah, but the snake thing,
Tupperware.
Any of those. Remember, there's not that many people listen on these holidays, so anything that's generic and funny plays.
And timeless, yeah.
I mean, don't laugh. You could probably replay the Wednesday show on Thanksgiving. I mean, you probably could.
Yeah.
And
because
I guess outside of the last segment.
Outside of the starting 5 and the last segment.
Correct.
Also, this could be problematic going forward, but and I'm sure we can figure it out, but the website that records the audio isn't showing anything for today yet. I don't know why. There's nothing going back because usually it has, from midnight on.
Oh, okay.
Of what? And there's nothing for today. So I'll just talk to the powers that be and figure that out.
It's a station thing.
That's over a year old. I don't know if we could find it, KW. Well, and New Year's Day is a Monday too.
That's right. Yeah, Christmas,
right. Yeah.
New Year's. That's what. Yeah. Gotta mute your.
Sorry, I forgot.
All
right, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Chris Landry of Landry Football will join us coming up at the top of the hour. In about 15 minutes, we'll get nitty-gritty. Canes, Knowles, Gators. Hold on a second. Jalen Daniels just scored again for LSU. Big wins for UCF and South Florida. All right. But, Mark, I do want to ask you, because, the two big stories in college football. So the Big Ten suspends Harbaugh rest of the regular season. He can coach during the week. He can't coach on Saturdays. Big Ten get it right, go too far, okay, a little lenient. Where are you on what the Big Ten did to Harbaugh in Michigan?
I thought the timing of the suspension was awful on Friday, first and foremost. I think that if they were going to suspend him, they had to make the suspension meaningful. And allowing him to coach essentially Sunday through Friday is still coaching. If he's not there on the sidelines on Saturday, it affects them, but not the way that it would allowing him to prepare his team for 3 weeks. I thought this was a suspension of a, look what we did. See, we got it. Whether they got it right, wrong, or indifferent didn't matter to the Big Ten. They had to do something. And this is what they felt they had to do. I think they got it wrong. I would have never suspended him. But I think what they did was more for looks than for matter.
You and I agree on the timing of the suspension. I thought it would have been okay if they did this on Thursday, Friday afternoon. I mean, Michigan was literally in the air. Okay, they found out the news when they landed in State College. I didn't like that. I think it's lenient, like you. To me, if you're going to suspend them, do an NFL suspension. You can't come to the building. I mean, they're going to have to do it without you. That's a suspension. And the fact that the team is not being penalized in any way, I understand Michigan fans really been out of shape about this, but come on. If we pulled you aside and you sobered up on this story and we said, listen, Harbaugh's going to miss 3 games at the end of the year. That's it. Team's not going to be penalized. He'll coach them during the week as punishments go. Can you live with that? You'd go, hell yeah, I could live with that. So I actually think Michigan makes that okay, and it's just enough of a penalty that they can use this as a rallying cry. Honestly, I think that this works out better for me. And now the conference hates them. Tony Petitti can never – I mean, that's going to be awkward, Big Ten championship game, right? If Tony Petitti's handing the trophy to Jim Harbaugh. That's reason right there where Petitti should have suspended him through the Big Ten title game. I mean, Petitti should have saved himself that potential embarrassment.
And Michigan fan, can I talk to you for a second? Just us. I don't even like you all that much. Can you imagine if you beat Ohio State now without Jim Harbaugh? Can you imagine? Your chest is puffed out pretty far as it is. Your chest is going to get through a door an hour and a half before you arrive in the room if you beat Michigan without Jim Harbaugh in a couple of weeks. And they will have given you all the fuel for your fire.
What do you think the rating's going to be for that game on Fox, huh? Think a few people are going to be interested in that Ohio State-Michigan game, both 11-0? The suspension, no Jim Harbaugh on the sidelines in Ann Arbor. Ryan Day needs to win just to be able to continue to go and have a good life. You can't lose 3 in a row to Michigan. After what Tressel did, after what Urban did, I mean, do you really want to be Ryan Day? Congratulations. You had a terrific year. You're 11-1. You're top 5 in the country. You lost to Michigan. You suck.
If I could get a camera in Harbaugh's house, if I were Fox, I would want Harbaugh cam. In fact, David, On FS1, I wouldn't show a game. I would just show Harbaugh cam.
Now, would it be okay without audio? Because I don't think he'd allow audio. Okay. All right. Gotcha. Harbaugh.
I'd have a little graphic, how many dips Jim's put in over the course of a game.
Right.
How many tins he's gone through for this one.
Gotcha. Hey, and before we go to Trent, 1 minute. I'm being serious now. So you're running the show at A&M, and you can hire anybody. I mean that. Anybody. That you think that you can get. That you think you could pry away. Anybody. Who you doing?
Urban Meyer.
Okay. Man, you are big on
Meyer.
You are big on the herbs. You really are.
Let me just ask a question. How's he done as a collegiate coach?
He's one of the best to ever do it.
Ever.
Yep.
And if he is at all considering getting back in the game, do you really think he'd go to East Lansing over College Station? Are you kidding me?
Mark, I've been saying the whole time this whole Urban Meyer to Michigan State stuff is garbage. Okay, like he's.
But is it the College Station?
No, College Station is a different animal. No. That is a different animal.
That's Texas. That's top level recruiting. All right, if Urban's out,
right. Here's my gold, silver, bronze. You ready?
Yep.
Realistically for A&M, Dabo. I think the timing may be right, and I think he's worried about Clemson's place in the landscape where conference they're going to end up in. Lane and Mike Elko, the Duke coach. He was defensive coordinator at A&M before. He knows the landscape, the whole deal. That's my gold, silver, bronze.
I like Lane. I think Lane makes a lot of sense.
Jimmy Sexton would know, okay, because he represents Lane, he represents Jimbo, he represents Nick. Lane's holding out for the Alabama job. This is where Jimmy Sexton finds out once and for all, can Lane get it? And if he can't, take A&M.
I saw Greg Swaim, who we've had on the show, who's dialed in as well as anybody, say Dan Lanning, the coach that's at Oregon.
Ooh.
I like the way he builds a team, David.
By the way, Trent, I don't want to burst your bubble. Do you know Dan Campbell's alma mater? Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
Yeah. Just throwing that out there. Okay.
Wow. Kick a guy. It was his birthday yesterday, for crying out loud.
Well, got to toughen them up. It's the real world.
Time now for our play of the day. As if we had any doubt where this is going to go based on Trent's attire this morning. Let's see. What do we got, Trent?
We go to the Mark Miller Bowl, where the Don't Call Me San Diego Los Angeles Chargers lose to the Detroit Lions 41-38. Lions go for it 4 out of 5 times on 4th down and convert, including one to set up this. Oh, says we couldn't open your program. You need to update your computer. So there we go.
He's played it 3 times this morning. I've heard it. I've heard it since 5:35, and as he goes to play it, it says you have to update your computer.
Riley Patterson knocks it through. Lions kicker, 24-year-old. It's actually his second stint with the Lions, believe it or not. And yeah, Lions push at -3, move to 7-2. Unbelievable.
No, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. He's working with a 1979 8-track back there. I mean, come on.
The computer's been all right for me most of the time here. It's usually the board or the keyboard. Now it's the actual computer itself.
That's our play of the day.
There you go.
And here's the best thing, Trent. When we go to break and you try it again, it'll work.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to have to talk to some people around here, say, hey, is it all right if I update the computer today overnight or something like that, so that
it'll be like,
when I get my 2 minutes of fame, I can actually play what I'm supposed to play?
Trent will be like, I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I drive into the darkness. I get one flipping segment in 4 flipping hours, and your 1979 8-track won't work.
And it was a Lions game winner. Crushing.
There is your play of the day, or at least something close to it. We'll talk college football on the other side. Chris Landry in 30 minutes. Thanks for listening, Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Mark, that's exactly why that win yesterday was so big for the Lions, because it's like you and I were saying, I don't know where the next loss is.
There will be one. They'll lose one they're not supposed to.
They might lose one to Minnesota.
Right.
They could lose.
They could lose to Dallas.
Or like, I was going to say, like another home letdown, the Broncos or something like that. I don't see it happening, but weird things happen.
Yep, they do.
But, yes, you're exactly right. Because, like, with Jalen Hurts banged up and that Eagles schedule, and the Niners already now with 3 losses, you control your own destiny against the Cowboys if it comes down to anything like that. So we shall see.
15-2 Lions.
Could you imagine?
No.
I can't.
No.
Especially after starting 1-1. That's the other thing. Started 1-1, won 5 straight. Lost one. If they win out, that'd just be crazy. Nuts. I'll tell you what, though. The same old Lions lose next Sunday against the Bears. But these aren't the same old Lions.
The computer work for you yet?
He clicked right out of it.
I was disgusted. I exited out of it.
That was fantastic.
Beautiful. You set it up so well, too.
The Mark Miller Bowl. That's what it is.
Mark
we won't get
Miller
another
Bowl,
one.
4 or 5 on 4th downs. It's set up so-and-so with this.
Crickets.
Never mind.
I wish it would have at least given me like a...
Did you have the Lions radio network too?
Yeah, Dan Miller. Would have been great. Oh, baby! What are the bosses? This one's over. It's fantastic. Yes, Canada Relief, Verner's. Huge in Michigan.
Yeah, it's great ginger ale.
It's the go-to for every mother when their kid is sick.
That's right. Have some ginger ale. That'll cure it.
With anything. Sick with anything.
Sonny, do you mean Gus Malzahn? No.
USF made it interesting. They're up 27-10 in that game and let Temple get back in it.
Here we
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
$22 till the top of the hour. Chris Landry of Landry Football, LandryFootball.com will join us at that point in time. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, FloridaSportsNetwork.com. All right. You know, some rivalries seemingly always produce, Mark. And one of those is Florida State, Miami, or Miami, Florida State, depending on how you look at it. And here are the Noles. They're back. They're 2-touchdown favorites. Miami coming off their worst performance of the year. They got injuries at quarterback. They ain't going to have much for the Noles. And guess what? We're about 2/3 of the way through that fight. We're heading to the 9th round, and the rounds are 4-4. It is dead even. Miami's trading punches with them. They're like, you want some of this? Yeah, we'll give you some of this.
And that was after, if you want to go into fight ways, that was after round 6, 7, and 8, Florida State showed their dominance.
Right.
And may have knocked Miami down even, getting a 2-touchdown lead, and looked as if they were on the brink of rolling the Canes.
But then, and we pointed it out late last week, we said, take a look at Florida State in the last 15, 20 minutes this year. And it doesn't matter the opponent. LSU in the opener, Duke at home, Clemson even. All right. Pitt just last week when they were missing most of their wide receiving core. Whether it's conditioning, whether it's depth, whether it's coaching and adjustments, whatever, whether it's just heart and fortitude, whatever you want to chalk it up to, the Noles got it and then some. And they looked at Miami and they said, you know, half our games have been like this. We're ready to go. How about you? How much more you got left in the tank? Miami said, well, we're game, but we ain't as good as you. Although they did score late to cover. But a good one in Tallahassee. Enough there, I think. Miami people I talked to, they're like, you know, we showed more than I thought. I'm actually, you know, we get our quarterbacks healthy, another recruiting class, transfer portal. We may be on to something.
Well, they matched up at the line of scrimmage for the most part throughout the game, David. That's where, if you're a Canes fan, they didn't get beat up in that game.
No. They just got beat by a better team. And certainly when their quarterback, who was their backup quarterback, once he got hurt, I mean, you know, they had no shot to win the game after that. But Florida State continues on 10-0. Remember, they had that 3-game losing streak in October last year. They haven't lost since. That's 16 in a row, baby. I mean, the only team's got a longer one's Georgia. They got it going on. But, Mark, here's another thing that I believe happened to Billy Napier and the Gators. We'll get to the LSU game in a moment. Don't you think the Canes' performance just laid down, what is it they do when you're painting a room? You lay down that base coat. Don't you think that if you're a Gator fan or a Gator booster, hey, come on, you paid attention to the Canes-Knowles game. You did. You hate them both. Come on, you did.
What else were you going to do?
Right. I mean, what were you
Before
watching?
Your game started.
You're watching Tennessee, Missouri? Seriously?
Right.
Come on.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
SEC.
Yeah.
Keep telling yourself that.
Right. You watch the Knowles and the Canes. We got it. And now you saw Miami, and you saw their effort, and you saw what they were able to do. And don't you now have that in your head in 12 days when you get the Knowles at your place? At the very least, Mark, we talk about ceilings and floors. Don't you think Gator fan, Gator booster is holding this year's Gators team to the floor that Miami just put forth on Saturday?
And I don't think it has to be a one-score game the way Miami came back. But, David, I think you're right. That when that game was 24-13, if it ended that way, if Florida gets beat 27-13, they trade a few punches, they score. Hell, Miami would have had a lead in that game and then lost. I think Florida fan can handle that. They don't want to. But I think deep down when they look themselves in the mirror, they can handle that. What they can't handle is the same thing that happened to them against LSU.
Which is interesting, though, because for 50 minutes, they're trading punches. It's 38-35. But, Jalen Daniels is special. Quick sidebar. Why are we not talking about him for, top picks of the draft? What am I missing? He's 6'4". That frame can handle a few more pounds. He's a terrific thrower of the ball, and we've seen what he can do running. I mean, is he a shorter Anthony Richardson? I mean, what am I missing here? Why are we not talking about him going in the top 5 or so of this draft? I mean, honestly, Anthony Richardson coming out last year or Jalen Daniels coming out this year? Who would you rather draft? Richardson went 4th. Am I missing something? Am I dead wrong on this?
Look at the Oregon kid or the LSU kid.
Mark, I don't know how many people I'm taking above the LSU kid.
No, I know, but right now,
I think Jalen Daniels.
So would I.
I listen. I know Drake May, Michael Penix. I get it. And if Caleb Williams is his own category and he's number 1, that's fine. Anthony Richardson went 4th. Anthony Richardson last year, Jalen Daniels this year. I'm asking all of you, who would you rather draft? Who are you putting your future in? Because let's face it, when you draft this quarterback, I mean, that's your career here. It's going to be determined by this quarterback. Not only that, Anthony Richardson gets hurt every year. Jalen Daniels took a helmet to the jaw, came back and played the next week. All right, back to Florida. So they're trading punches, and LSU's just got more firepower. Is that how we look at this? And, by the way, they threw a touchdown with 2.5 minutes to go to cover because the line was 16.5 at kickoff, and they won by 17. Or are we looking at that and going, wow, LSU had the ball 5 times in the second half, and they scored 5 touchdowns.
5 touchdowns.
Right. 5 for 5.
5 touchdowns in the second half.
They had the ball 5 times. Right. Uh-huh.
That's why I meant in that regard, David, because they did trade punches, but they gave up 5 touchdowns on 5 possessions in the second half.
Right.
and looked as if they had no answers at any point in time.
Well, no, you were watching the last 2 hours of that game thinking, well, it doesn't matter how much longer we play. They're not going to punt. They're just not going to punt. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll drop a ball. I don't know, fumble it, something, but they ain't punting.
Yeah, unless they get a big penalty early, this is not going well for us.
And then even if we get them in like 2nd and 20, Daniels will just run for like 26 because apparently we can't catch him either. He had 606 yards of offense. Him. And he touched the ball 38 times. He threw 26 passes and ran it 12 times. 606 yards. 606 yards. You're an SEC defense, supposedly. Oof. Oh, boy. See, here's the problem for Napier, Mark. What are you hanging your hat on going into year 3? From what you've seen, so their special teams are horrendous. Their defense the second half of the year has been bad. Bad. They're giving up they're like 44 points a game in their last 4 SEC games.
I don't know, where their depth is on their defensive line, but David, it's where, from a standpoint of the portal, that Napier's got to win. If he's there, he's got to win the portal. He's got to get stronger on the defensive line. They've got to have more depth there. They get pushed around in the second half, and they had no pass rush. They had nothing.
Now let's try to emphasize the positive here. How about UCF? How about that? Wait, hold on a second. I think the Knights just scored again. Wow.
I want to take out the Space U uniforms. Maybe they should wear them every week.
Now, listen, we all kind of looked at that, and by we all, I mean Miller and Moulton, looked at that line and said, wow, Oklahoma State's only a 2.5-point favorite after just beating Oklahoma. Maybe they're thinking Oklahoma State's going to have a letdown. I think it's fair to say they did. 45-3 UCF. Back-to-back Big 12 wins. They're 5-5, Mark. They can go bowling, baby. At Texas Tech, home for Houston. They can get one of those.
Yes, they
can go
can.
to a bowl.
And I think the season becomes a success if they go to a bowl, David.
What did we say at the beginning of the year? We played the schedule game, and we said, listen, they got to get to 6-6. Got to go bowling. And if they do, it's a successful first year in the Big 12.
Even with the Space U unis.
And think of where they'd be. I mean, they blew a 35-10 third-quarter lead at home against Baylor. I mean, man, this season would already be a success. We'd be thinking, gaudy, could they go 8-4, and how great would that be? They'd be damn near 500 in the Big 12 heading into their final 2 games. I mean, we'd be excited about this. And they played a month without their starting quarterback. I mean, think of the narrative and the spin we'd be doing about UCF season. Go get one more, boys. You're a 3-point dog in Lubbock this Saturday at Texas Tech.
They're going to have a letdown after beating Kansas.
Oh, you had to bring that up. Golly, what the heck?
You got a winning week. I don't know what you're complaining about. I'm the guy that was 2-1 going into Sunday and lost both games to have my first losing week in forever.
That's true. But, man, I was very confident about Kansas. That was my second most confident play of the weekend. The Steelers were my first, and they covered by 0.5 point. And Kansas, hell, all they had to do was beat Texas Tech by 4. Come on, at home? Seriously? Texas Tech, 1 road win? Come on. I digress. And then Houston at home, even if you don't win in Lubbock. Come on. You got Houston at your place for a 500 season. Go bowling. So we can do this. Speaking of which, Mark, how about our boy in Tampa, huh?
Held on. Temple made a late run. It was up 27-10. Temple with a couple of fourth quarter scores to make that game far more interesting. But Alex Golich has the South Florida Bulls a game away from going bowling.
They've won 4 games the last 3 years, and this year they're 5-5, baby. 5-5. Now they're going to lose this week. They play a good team this week, don't they?
Yes.
But they got Charlotte at home.
Right.
Charlotte's a bad team. So they're going to be like UCF in theory. UCF needs to beat Houston, not a good team. At home to go bowling. South Florida could be in the same situation. Beat a bad team. Charlotte at home, go bowling. Come on, we said at the beginning of the year, he goes to a bowl, he's coach of the year in that conference. I don't care if somebody goes unbeaten. He's coach of the year in the conference if he gets South Florida into a bowl game.
And he's a game away from doing it.
Well, we're going to have a tough time keeping him on the show, aren't we?
I don't know. Maybe he thinks it's, part of the.
Really? We're part of the success story?
We're part of the success story. No, it's like typical Miller and Moulton, David. We get them early.
Totally.
We have a nice run with them, and they go on to great success.
Yep.
Dan Orlovsky was doing reps on this show. Now he's a superstar at ESPN. Clay Travis did some reps on this show. He's
conquering the world.
Right.
Yep. Ross Chastain. Okay. Followed his whole journey. Hell, he'd call us in the middle of testing sessions in Vegas. He'd call us back. Yeah. Now, I couldn't get him with a subpoena. Yep. Alex Golish, he could be next. Add him to the list. That's why we're thrilled Bud Elliott. Bud still loves us. And he's conquering the media world, and he still calls us back. We're shocked.
And he'll join us this Wednesday like he always does.
Right.
When he said last week, Ole Miss is a fraud.
Mark won $1 million on that. Mark was so heavy on Georgia this weekend, there were like no bricks left for any other wheelbarrows.
Started out strong. Took all the bricks back by the end of the weekend, unfortunately, because Sunday did not treat me well. I told you I didn't have a good vibe on Sunday.
I know.
I should have kept the wheelbarrow in the garage on Sunday instead of pushing it and trying to ride a 2-in-1 week into a really good weekend, but that was not the case. Chris Landry to break down the film on everything that happened over the weekend. He is next. Thanks so much for listening. Miller and Moulton, where else but right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Jason and Todd are excited to kick off the holiday season at the Diamond District with their biggest diamond event of the year. This weekend, November 17th, 18th, and 19th, Jason and Todd roll out the red carpet for you. Come view the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. Many jewelers talk about selection, but no one walks the walk like Jason and Todd. With over 6,000 square feet of showroom filled with stunning fine jewelry, They'll be in the store all weekend to work with you personally and make sure you get the lowest prices on all fine jewelry, GIA certified diamonds, diamond engagement rings, bracelets, diamond studs, and more. Takori, America's top bridal designer, will join the Diamond District with her entire collection of over 500 new bridal designs. If you're in love and want diamonds, now is the perfect time to visit the Diamond District. Jason and Todd will also throw in 3 years interest-free financing on what they promise to be the lowest prices on diamonds anywhere.
At the Diamond District.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Rough Tough, is that something you heard on the radio? Is that something you heard on the app? Or is that something that you heard here on Twitch? And Adam, Greg Swaim is reporting that that's who A&M's going after. They're going after Lanning. I think that's an interesting poll question in and of itself. If you're Dan Lanning, do you want to be at Oregon entering the Big Ten, or do you want to be in A&M in the SEC?
Hey, also, David, Mark wasn't hot. He was telling me that I was editing the podcast. It was coming over the air for a sec.
Yeah, but I don't. Was it coming over the radio, or because I heard it too?
It might have been.
Okay,
it was the tape. It wasn't me.
It wasn't Mark actually talking. It was just from the previous hour.
Canada relief. I don't think Deion's ready. Also, I don't think he'll leave with his kids still in Colorado. So to me, I thought Deion was going to replace Jimbo after next year.
Morning, Chris.
Morning. How y'all doing?
Doing great. Yourself?
Good, good.
How about the last 48, 72 hours, huh?
Oh, man.
It's right out of Central Casting. I mean, it's just like, what have the writers been doing for the last 4 months while striking? They wrote this weekend is what they did. Jeez.
I know it.
You're Dan Lanning. Your choice, stay at Oregon, go to A&M. Okay, Oregon in the Big Ten, A&M in the SEC going forward. Where would you rather be?
Well, first of all, Dan's got a $20 million buyout.
Right. Well, I'm just asking you, not whether it's going to happen. I'm just asking. You're Dan Lanning. Where would you rather be? I think I might stay.
Yeah, I don't know. I can only, obviously, football-wise, that's the only thing. Personally, being from the South, that may factor in. Always with family. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a really good job. It has a lot of money, a lot of resources. I don't know. I don't know that the timing's right for him. Yeah, I think he probably would make that move, but I think he'd probably make the move later.
Right.
In a couple of years. But who knows? You never know.
Canada Relief, that story that came out, the source of that story was somebody with the Michigan Regents, that they were that mad at the Big Ten that, we may leave. That didn't come from the university. It came from somebody in the system. Number one. Number two, all they'd have to do is call one school. I mean, they got to call Columbus. Hey, we're thinking of leaving. You coming? It's tough for me to imagine they'd leave without him.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
For a guy who lives and breathes football, he may not sleep all week after what's taken place in the last 72 hours. He is Chris Landry of Landry Football, LandryFootball.com. Thanks for joining us once again, Chris. Listen, we like you for many reasons. One of which is you've done just about everything you can do in football, in the front office, coaching, on the field, off the field. With that in mind, I'm not getting into what it is the Big Ten did. I'm asking you, the former coach, the former member of an organization, how punitive is it, or is it not? Harbaugh can coach 6 days a week, but he can't be there on game day. How punitive, in your estimation, is that?
Well, I think it is, but it depends on the level of opponent. I think if you prepare your team well, the biggest part of coaching is during the week. But there are some game day decisions that it certainly hinders you if you don't have your head coach. Hinders you if you are playing a team that's pretty competitive. Like for the rest of their schedule, probably not. Maybe, the Ohio State game, it might be a bigger factor. Beating Maryland, probably not going to be a factor. No disrespect. So if you prepare your team well, and I think we saw it last week on the road at Penn State, when you've got things going well, a well-coached team will know how to deal with it. Once that came down, I knew Penn State, what little chance they had was out the window, because that was going to be rally the troops, biggest thing, so yeah, it's important. It's going to be important for those pivotal games down the stretch to have him, or else you wouldn't be paying these guys the exorbitant amount of money. If they weren't important, they'd just say, we'll just hire coordinators and not bother with a head coach. It's important.
LSU put up 52 points on Florida. Jaden Daniels was spectacular. When you see the film, how does this guy translate to Sundays in your estimation? Because we're trying to figure out why he's not getting the same type of accolades as the Penix is. Maybe not Williams and maybe not Duke Mayo, but what about the rest of them, if you know what I mean?
Well, because people look at it and say, well, they've lost a couple of games. Folks, they're a 7-5. LSU's a 7-5, maybe 6-6 team without Jaden Daniels. They may not win Saturday. They definitely don't beat Arkansas. They definitely don't beat Missouri. And if they didn't have them, I don't know that they beat A&M. If it's most valuable player, it's most outstanding. I think it's for second place. This guy is carrying this team in ways that I've not seen one player carry one team. Again, everybody's got this perception that this is a really good LSU team. It's got some good players. Not, again, 6-6, 7-5 team. He's been phenomenal. And I think he certainly helped his draft stock out a lot because he's improved so much as a passer. Last year, beginning of the season, that's all he could do was run. Now he's beating you throwing it from the pocket, throwing on the move, getting the ball out on time. This guy's developed himself into a very good pro prospect. And the way he runs, it's so unique. It's upright, and yet he just slides in like one of those video game things. You just can't get a clean shot on him. And if they didn't have him, they'd be in bad shape.
Okay, well, the question we've been asking is, who would you rather put your stock in going forward? Anthony Richardson last year, Jaden Daniels this year. I mean, if Richardson went fourth, Chris, we're Miller and Moulton anyway are like, well, then hell, what? Daniels has to go top 5. I would much rather put my future and my franchise's future in Jaden Daniels' hands more so than Anthony Richardson. Am I wrong?
No, he's a better passer than Anthony Richardson. Anthony's a different type of player. He's bigger. He's more built like a Cam Newton style body. And he's got his own, Jalen Hurts type. He can do some of those things. Daniels has got more ability as a passer, and his ability to escape is phenomenal. So, yeah, I agree with you.
San Francisco got healthy, and they look like San Francisco again. Is it just as simple as the receiver and the tackle coming back and everything falls into place, Chris?
Well, in a lot of, I think, resurfacing of looking at what they were doing. Look, this is a team that's a stay-on-schedule team. the defense was the biggest improvement. And they've obviously added a nice piece to that front. And boy, does that look really good. So this is a team that's the whole, it's not the individual parts, it's the sum of everything. The defense, keep them on schedule, field position, get the running game going, short passing game, things are fine. When you take off some of those pieces around the quarterback, he's not a quarterback that's going to win for you. You can win with him. And so, yeah, I think that is the lesson, is when they've got things going in their way health-wise, they're in really good position. They're going to be a deep threat, but they're not like maybe a team that has that dominant quarterback that's going to put a team on its back and is going to overcome missing a couple of receivers or, a key lineman or two. He's not that type, but yeah, that was a big part of it, and we'll see how healthy they can stay down the stretch. They still are the team to beat in the West, in my view.
Chris Landry, LandryFootball.com. You can follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at LandryFootball. Chris Landry joins us every Monday at this time here on Miller and Moulton. 3 weeks ago, Bryce Young outplayed C.J. Stroud. Since then, C.J. Stroud looks like he's one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the league. What he and they are doing, your thoughts on C.J. Stroud and the Texans?
And what he did prior to the Carolina game wasn't either.
No, that's what I mean.
Phenomenal.
Since he got outplayed by Bryce Young and they lost to Carolina, think about what he and they have done since.
No, it's been phenomenal. And I think outside of the Carolina game, I guess what I'm saying, he's played well consistently all year long. Now, I'm more impressed with what he's done recently because I think there's enough film out on him to take some things away. He's not only a dynamic playmaker, he is really a student of the game. He knows where to go with the football. He is cool hand Luke. We've seen him, just alluded to it, last 2 weeks. He didn't just play well. He just give him a few ticks on the clock and he's going to bring your team down. They got something special there. There's no question. And I think I mentioned this to you. I believe I mentioned it here last week, a couple of weeks ago. That Carolina's thinking, boy, did we make the wrong pick? I don't care what happened in that one game. You can see the difference. And you're looking at that and you look at what he's doing. You look at Mac Jones' struggles. You look at some of these young guys. It's early. It doesn't make a career yet. But, man, you can't get off to a better start. I don't know that I've seen a rookie quarterback play this well this early consistently.
Well, and Chris, talk about that because after about 4 games, you have film. You have tendencies. So what are the tendencies on this kid, or are there any tendencies that they're finding? Because he's still able, as you've pointed out the last 2 weeks, to make game-winning drives at the end.
Well, they've done a good job with him in the scheme. I think that it's really good. The ball comes out quick, but he can make plays from within the pocket, deep in the pocket. He's very patient, waiting for guys to get open, but he can move and buy time throwing the move. He's got a complete package in terms of it. Now, there's going to be people in better defenses that are going to have success against him, and he's not going to have these type of performances every week. It's not about that. It's about what's your ability to be able to take what somebody does to you, learn from it, and not make the same mistakes over. That's the thing that's impressive, because you're going to have bad games. You're going to have people that are going to do a better job against you. How do you overcome it? So far, so good. Been very impressed. And this is not a great Houston team at all. Its roster is one of the weakest 6 or so in the league. And right now, they're in the race in that division.
And right now, they'd be the 7 seed. Now, if Buffalo wins tonight, they'd overtake them. But it is remarkable where they've been recently and where they are right now. Hey, how about Deshaun Watson looking like Deshaun Watson again?
How about the entire AFC North? Deshaun, obviously, the head first play in the game that got him to come back, put that behind him. Yeah, that's going to be fun to see. Now, Cleveland lost a couple of guys in their secondary yesterday, but that was a really big-time win. The Ravens come in playing hot. Isn't it? It's a week-to-week league, isn't it? You know who's good, you know who's not good, but, boy, there's so much, just a little of this, a little of that each week, and it flips it around. This AFC North is going to be a lot of fun because you've got really all 4 teams that are playing good ball in some way. Don't like the Steelers nearly as much. But if Deshaun continues to play this way, the Browns have every bit of a chance of getting into that race. And the Bengals obviously blew one yesterday. So it's going to be a fun ride. Do
you take anything away negatively from the Ravens? They lost, but that's still, most of us thought that was right there with Kansas City. Do you still feel that way, or was there something that you saw yesterday that concerned you?
Yeah, not being able to run the football and finish the game. That's what they do. I mean, that's how their bread's buttered. You know, I worry about the Ravens as you get deep. I always say they're a great regular season team because they're better than most teams. But when you get into the playoffs and you play good defenses, do you have enough of a passing game? Oh, the passing game has gotten better and better. But if you play a team that can defend the run with 7 and play split safeties, I don't think they're nearly as good. So, you know, got to keep that in mind. So that's what concerns me about them, just in general, their style. But if they can't run the football and finish games, that's the one thing that you know they can hang their hat on, and they wasn't able to do it. So let's credit the Browns for stopping it, but that's what you're going to see come playoff time.
2 months ago, Jalen Milroe was benched against South Florida, and right now he is probably going to be on the short list for SEC Player of the Year if he keeps this up. This is a remarkable turnaround by he in Alabama, isn't it?
Yeah, done a really good job. So when you take a team like Alabama, that's completely different than the past couple of years. They're built around the defense and the running game. Quarterback run, downhill run game, and they forced a lot of heavy fronts, and then that creates some spacing to throw the football. You can't play man coverage against him. You do, he'll take it and run. They get what they have, and I think that's why Nick is having so much fun with this team, is because he knows this is not one of his dynamic teams. It's a team that he's figured out, you know, these guys are buying in, and listen, I think they're very good. Can they beat Georgia? Well, I don't know. We'll see. I think Georgia's more complete. But the turnaround, you know, good, well-coached teams get better as the year goes along. Lost to Texas, didn't have that figured out. Now I hear people say, well, I should have done this all along. Well, you can't do it all along. It takes time for him to develop the way they've developed them. I mean, you need some games. And South Florida game was ugly, bad. The Texas game was a loss, and everyone was jumping off the ship. Now, obviously, it's Alabama and Georgia, like a lot of us thought at the beginning of the year it would be.
And Georgia's yet to win one of those in Atlanta, at least against Nick. So he's Chris Landry, Landry Football, LandryFootball.com. Follow him on Twix at Landry Football. Chris, all the best. Thanks. We'll do it again next week.
Hey, thank you, guys. Have a great one.
Chris Landry joining us once again here on Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com. Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, West Coast. I thought it was a safety too. I will say, I thought the pass in the Steelers-Packers game is a lot closer than people are making it out to be. It's not where
safety too, by the way.
It's not where Pickett's front foot is. Pickett's front foot was on the 10. It's where he's releasing the ball from. He released it from the 9. Now, do I think the ball went backwards about a foot? Because the ball had a little tail on it back away. I do. But I actually think that play, because Serator is getting killed, that he was too wishy-washy from CBS headquarters, commenting on the play. And Charles Davis said, well, I just, vehemently disagree with you. I actually think that one was closer than people are, because it's not where his front foot is. It's where his arm is, where he released it. And it's pretty close to the 9. And the receiver was on the 9. Now, the pass was behind him. So I do think technically the ball went like a foot, half a yard backwards. And yes, I thought it was a safety. Isn't it a safety the opposite of a touchdown? Doesn't just any part of the ball have to touch the goal line for it to be a touchdown? But doesn't the whole ball have to be out on a safety?
I thought it had to be out, David.
You got a good college hoops night, Trent. A sneaky good college hoops night. Xavier Purdue after Michigan St. John's. FS1 doubleheader. Trent, this just in, Mark's favorite broadcast. Well, his favorite is anything going on in Britain that's on during the day. But if it's something that's taking place after, say, 3 in the afternoon, his favorite broadcast is the 6:30 Fox basketball game.
Favorite? Is that
favorite?
Sarcastic? That is
no.
Okay, good.
6:30. It's done by 8:30. I can get the whole game in. I don't have to worry about falling asleep.
Yes.
You can even get halftime of the next game because halftime's like 9:15, 9:20. Oh, yeah.
Yep. That's college hoops for you. Do it right. A little bit shorter of a game, too. Not as many replays or reviews, I should say, as the NBA.
It was fascinating being in Kansas City, being in an airport hotel, and figuring, Friday night, everywhere I've been, football's on. Football. In Kansas City, college hoops on all the TVs.
Love it.
Bellarmine, Kansas State, baby. I was sitting there watching it. Bellarmine made a big run in the second half, cut it down.
All right, here we go.
They played hard. They nearly lost.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. 2 segments left along the network. The Diamond District bonus hour awaits for Southwest Florida at the top of the hour. So much to sink our teeth into. I mean, we do 3 hours along the network, 4 hours for the 239. Miller and Moulton are like, do we have enough time today to talk about from like lunchtime Friday through last night? Just football. I mean, thank goodness we don't have to spend a lot of time on everything else, because it's just, man, what a busy last 3 days.
Well, thank God we don't have to talk about what happened last night, because it really wasn't a relevant football game.
You don't do that to me. Don't bring up anything having to do with Zach Wilson. A very bad side of me emerges.
Well, you said all the way up until late last night, and I didn't mean to correct you, but
I was just
national
counting.
football broadcasts aren't worth watching right now, Thursday through Monday. No offense to your job tonight.
Listen, I tell you what, an apology may be in order. When you consider, what was it, Carolina, Chicago on Thursday, and Vegas and the Jets last night, the stylistically, the best looking game in prime time this week might be Denver at Buffalo. Might be. I can't guarantee that. I wouldn't bet on it, but yeah. I will say the Bills are 0-5 against the number in their last 5, and they're laying 7 tonight. So I'm kind of, plus Denver at a bye week coming in. I'm kind of hopeful we get a game tonight.
What is it? Somebody had the big monster bet in Florida that the Florida casino took the first big hit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a bettor won $5.5 million on a $500,000 4-leg NFL parlay. When the Texans kicker hit the kick over the Bengals, that was the final leg, and he took the Hard Rock for a cool $5.5
schmil. That's why they call it gambling. Sometimes it can be gambling for the house too. Man, sir, how would you like this? 20s or 50s? Okay. That's only the second biggest payout of the weekend. However, that lucky gambler in Florida, Jimbo Fisher, was fired yesterday to review. A&M's buyout is $76 million and change. 19.25 of it's due within the next 60 days. And then they owe him an annual check of $7.2 million for 8 years. That's right. 24, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, and 31. So the $19.2 million is just to get you to the annual payments. So, 8 times 7.2, that's 57.8. And then you throw the 19.2 on. That's $77 million, folks, to not coach A&M.
Right. So when he gets another job and makes between 6, 8, 10 million, whatever they're going to pay him, he still gets paid by Texas A&M.
Correct. And it's specific. Jimmy Sexton, his agent, has it in the wording. No. He ain't working for free wherever else he goes. That's added on top of this. He's still getting the $7.2 million annually from A&M.
And Jimmy Sexton got paid on the buyout, and he's going to get paid each year.
Right. Yeah. I mean, 3% of $77 million. I mean, that's, what is that? That's $2 million, isn't it?
0.1, right?
Yeah. That's just pretty, 2.3. I mean, that's pretty good. Now,
you're right.
He may have to wait for it. Yeah, it's going to take a while, but still, Jimmy had a good day yesterday. So there you go. The big payouts from the weekend, whoever the lucky gambler was. And
think about A&M for a minute. And I want you, Gator fan, to think about A&M for a minute. Because that's what just happened. They blew this sucker up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which means all the great recruits that they've been compiling over the past couple of years can get up and leave.
Yes, they can. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I will say this, though. I mean, there aren't many active coaches who have won national championships. I mean, can we quickly do if you count Mac Brown, he is active. So you got Nick, you got Mac, you got Kirby, you got Dabo, you got Jimbo. We got anybody else?
Nope.
Orgeron's not active right now. He's, sunbathing and,
living
snoozing with
his
the
best life.
Yes, he is. Yes,
Go
he
Tigers.
is. Go Tigers. By the way, the Missouri coach, Eli Drinkowitz, has got a thing. I didn't know this. So Jenny Dell interviews him after the first quarter. And, he gives a very nice interview. Actually, he says something. And she says, "Thank you, coach." And he says, "Go Miz." I'm like, whoa. Or one of us is kind of like, you're Spartans, right? Isn't it go green?
Yeah.
And then somebody else says,
go white.
Right. So I'm thinking, I looked around the booth. I'm like, are we supposed to say go zoo? I mean, what is there something is there a second part to this? Go Miz? Yeah. So it's not go Tigers. But I mean, what is?
Nothing, David.
No.
Nothing.
I'd have him as part of the pregame show just for that. And we're heading to break now. Ed, take it away. Go Tigers. Be back right after this. So, but okay, Jimbo. I mean, he's one of what, five? Five guys.
Five guys.
He's won a national championship. And yet, do you think Jimbo will get a top 25 job again?
Not without having to go somewhere else first.
And if you were getting $77 million over the next 8 years, would you go somewhere else?
No.
First?
No, I wouldn't. I would find an island to go live on and blow the $77 million, David. This would be it for me. I would be done.
Yeah. I mean, well, there you go. Well played. Well played, young man. Seriously, if you're Jimbo, don't you do TV? He talks fast, too. He's perfect for television. He's got an accent. He talks very fast. So when they say 15 seconds, Jimbo can read the Star Spangled Banner in 15 seconds.
He'd be great on television.
No, he really would. He'd answer your questions, too. I mean, he's got no personality. Okay, so you actually ask him a question, he'd tell you the answer.
He's got an opinion on everything.
And he does. And he knows where all the bodies are buried. I mean, hell, he buried some of them. And he worked with guys who buried the others. So, I mean, there's nothing he can't talk about if he wants to talk about it.
And with Urban getting a job in college football, there's an opening on Fox.
Urban is not coming back. He's not.
Not even for the A&M job? Because that's real money, David.
It is.
That's real money. That's real money. That's real NIL money. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they fired their last 11 coaches. Coaches don't leave on their own terms at Texas A&M. They fired 11 straight coaches. They will fire a 12th.
By the way, does that count as a trend? Okay, if you get hired at A&M, you're getting fired. Really? Oh, yeah. It's like the list of Browns quarterbacks since they've come back in the league. Is that the T-shirts they're going to have in College Station now?
12th man, 12th coach to get fired, no matter how you slice it. Miller and Moulton. Back with more in a moment.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Jason and Todd are excited to kick off the holiday season at the Diamond District with their biggest diamond event of the year. This weekend, November 17th, 18th, and 19th, Jason and Todd roll out the red carpet for you. Come view the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. Many jewelers talk about selection, but no one walks the walk like Jason and Todd. With over 6,000 square feet of showroom filled with stunning fine jewelry, They'll be in the store all weekend to work with you personally and make sure you get the lowest prices on all fine jewelry, GIA certified diamonds, diamond engagement rings, bracelets, diamond studs, and more. Takori, America's top bridal designer, will join the Diamond District with her entire collection of over 500 new bridal designs. If you're in love and want diamonds, now is the perfect time to visit the Diamond District. Jason and Todd will also throw in 3 years interest-free financing on what they promise to be the lowest prices on diamonds anywhere.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Time's the production meeting, 10?
No, 11. Which is good because they serve breakfast. So you go down early and you eat. Then you're ready to go for the production meeting. And then you come back to the room and you're asleep between noon and 12:30. It's glorious. So I bought a new MiFi or whatever the hell these things are called.
Yeah.
And it's 5G because, it's the most modern thing they got. I think it works better. Like the other one was having trouble. Like I never had full bars on the other one this year. Like I didn't, it always seemed like a really good one. I'd have 3 bars. Most places I had 2 bars. I'm sitting here looking at 4 bars right now. Like,
Get a drink.
Long sleeves was not the move today. I am sweating.
It's hot on that side.
I got to figure this out.
Yeah, that side's warm because of all the equipment.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
This side's freezing.
We got 3 computers just cranking full bore.
And
they don't
the
even work
board
half
and
the
everything
time.
else in that small room. That's a warm room.
Yeah. Maybe I'll open the door.
There you go.
We miss anything from the weekend? Anything we haven't talked about?
Edmonton fired their coach
and hired the Rangers AAA coach. I guess he
Coach McDavid in Erie.
Yeah.
But no, not really.
That's what happened. Okay. We did say when Philly lost to San Jose, we said bet the Flyers hard their next game. They won. And then when Edmonton lost to San Jose, we said, that's probably going to cost him his job. Apparently, they were finalizing the deal with Knobloch while he was in the middle of the 4-1 win over Seattle in his final game.
Here we go.
All right, whatever.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes till the top of the hour, our final segment along the network on this very busy Monday. I mean, how could it not have been after everything that took place from Friday afternoon right on into last night in, I mean, I could say the world of sports, but it's just football alone. I mean, college and pro football, wow, what just bat blank bonkers in the last 60-plus hours. Just remarkable. You know, Mark, we've kind of given them short shift today. Boy, what a good day for the Tampa Bay Bucks yesterday.
Terrific day.
I mean, they looked good. They looked solid. They held Tennessee to like 200-something yards of offense. They made Will Levis look like a rookie.
They blitzed.
Well, yes.
They had a rookie quarterback, and they blitzed him.
Right. The opposite of what they did against C.J. Stroud and the Texans. Correct. But, hey, you know, it's just at least they realized that they screwed up. But they won, and so they have 5 losses. And if you take a look at the rest of the division, Mark, the Saints, who were favored against Josh Dobbs in Minnesota, you know, I will say this. They like playing for their coach. All right. If you spend any time around the Vikings, they like their coach. Even when they started 0-3, they like their coach. They play for him. They got a little, they're not winning many playoff games, if any playoff games, but they
probably not, but they're going to get to 9 or 10 and they're going to make the playoffs. You can write that down right now. When you look at the NFC, they're too clear in the win column of anybody for the wild card. The Vikings are.
But now Tampa Bay's tied with the Saints in the loss column, only a half a game behind them, and they're a game ahead of Atlanta in the loss column. Now, I mean, man, where you look where they were a week ago at this time, they were in 3rd place. Now they're in 2nd, tied in the loss column for 1st, and they've already beaten the 1st place team at their place. And correct me if I'm wrong, how many games does Tampa Bay have with Carolina?
Well, you beat me to it, David. That might be the most important thing. It's not the fact that they go to the Niners this week while they lose. They've got Carolina twice,
including the final week of the season. So while Atlanta's going to New Orleans week 18, the Bucks are in Charlotte. Right now, by the way, and I know Carolina doesn't have their pick, so Carolina is actually the Bears. Got it. Right now, Patriots, Giants, Carolina. I'm taking Arizona out of the equation. They got Kyler Murray back. I think they're going to win 2 more games the rest of the way. I think Arizona's actually out of the running. But I'll throw Arizona in. Number 1 pick of the draft right now. Arizona, Carolina, the Giants, the Patriots. Go.
I think it's Carolina, but I'm going to give a silver to the Giants.
Ooh, yeah.
I know what you're getting at here, but Carolina's that bad, David.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand. And they only have one win right now. They're the leader in the clubhouse when we make this bet, and the other 3 teams have 2 wins. And if you're a Bears fan right now, you're like, that's us. That's our pick, baby. Yeah, it is. It is. But right now, it's tough to be worse than the Giants are right now. Over under a half wins the rest of the year for the Giants.
David, you're a Giant fan.
I am.
Under, by the way, is my bet on that. Sorry.
You're
a Giant fan, and you were somewhere yesterday. We're at 4:25. You have a room in which you can watch. There were only 4 football games, I believe, being played at 4:00.
Correct.
How many plays of the Giants game did you actually watch yesterday?
Well, it was the Fox game of the week, and also I'm in upstate New York. Guess what game was on locally? I mean, it was impossible to avoid the Giants game yesterday. So it was on. I saw the whole beatdown.
Oh, wow. See, I mean, obviously it was on locally. So I put it on bottom left because that's the TV that gets the local. Even with it on a television, I didn't watch the game.
Total beatdown. Oh, yeah. Saw the whole thing. I had flashbacks. Me and a buddy of mine who's a Giants fan who lives in West Palm now, we're texting each other, what does this remind you of? And, of course, it's tough to out-goober me. I mean, I am the nerdiest. As goobers go, I'm one of the 5 nerdiest goobers out there. And so I text him, I go, this reminds me of a Dan Fouts San Diego Chargers beatdown, 44-7. I'm not sure of the year. I think it was the early 80s. So, of course, then what am I doing? I'm looking it up. And it was 1980. And I go, wow, we won 4 games that year. There's no way we're winning 4 games this year.
Man, oh, man.
Woo. Yeah. Tommy DeVito. Yeah, they're awful. But so that's the game within itself right there. Okay, number 1 pick of the draft. Arizona with Kyler Murray back. I'm telling you, I think you take Arizona, you push them to the side. I think this is a 3-horse race. 1 win Carolina, 2 win Giants, 2 win Patriots, and they play each other in 13 days.
All right. Play the schedule game with me for Tampa. See where they get to.
Okay.
They have 4 wins.
Right.
They're losing this week. They're at the Niners.
They are.
Then they play at the Colts.
That's a big game. Because that's a toss-up game. Those are the games that, like, why is Tampa in the situation that they're in right now? They were in a toss-up game at Houston. They blew it. So, okay, I'm pushing that one to the side.
Home for Carolina. That's a win.
Correct.
At Atlanta.
Ooh.
They blew an opportunity. They got outplayed and blew an opportunity to beat the Falcons the first time they played them.
Well, the Falcons, I think, are now entering their bye week, and their head coach has all but said he's going to make a decision at quarterback coming out of the bye, and he's going to stick with it the rest of the year. I think, by the way, his job may depend on post-bye. I think Arthur Blank's been patient here. He gave him the first 2 years. He got his cap situation straightened out, the whole deal. I think Arthur Blank thinks that they should be playing the Saints Week 18 for the NFC South title. And if they're not, I don't know if this guy sees year 4.
All right, so they beat Carolina. They're going to have to win at Atlanta if they want to win the division.
Well, and I'm going to bet on it that they don't get swept by the Falcons.
Right. Then they're at Green Bay.
All right, give me a split between the Colts and the Packers on the road. Give me one of them. So what are we? So we're 3-2 in the last 5.
Right.
Okay, so that has us. So what are we? We're
7-7.
We're 7-7. Okay, let's go.
7-7, 3 to play. Home for the Jags.
That's a loss.
That's a loss. Home for the Saints.
Oh boy.
And at Carolina.
Yeah, you're right. The games at Atlanta and home for the Saints. They win those, they're going to win the South. Because then they're going to go 5-1 in the division. So they'll win all tiebreakers. And
it could be a bunch of 8-9 teams on top of that division.
Right. And then they could win an 8-9 tiebreaker instead of a 9-8. Yeah. So there it is. Those are the key games there. At Atlanta, home for the Saints. in theory, win the games you're then favored in, which is 2 against Carolina. Because think about it, that's 4 division games the rest of the way. If that's the only games they win, do they win the division? Somebody would have to finish above 500. The Saints, it's tough for the Falcons. They're 4-6. Can the Saints afford, can they get to 9 losing at Tampa? And remember, Carr's hurt going forward. I don't know if Carr's playing next week. So
Jameis, baby. Here he comes.
there we go, to the rescue to keep the Bucs out of the playoffs. Yep.
Boy, wouldn't that be something?
It would. Wouldn't
But
it be
that's
great?
why you just start looking at the NFC, unless somehow Washington can win a bunch of games. I'm telling you right now, the Minnesota Vikings are a playoff team.
6-4.
They've
They don't
only
have
got to win 3 more to get there.
I
They won the
understand
trade
that.
deadline with Josh Dobbs. They won the trade deadline.
Now, I will say, much like now, is there a race in the AFC South? Do you now have to take the Texans seriously? Think about Jacksonville at Houston in 3 weeks? I mean, that's a chance for Houston to sweep the Jags. Obviously, there's your tiebreaker. I mean, do we, with what Houston's done lately, remember, they started the year 0-2. They've won 5 of their last 7. And one of the 2 losses is at Carolina. Ooh. But are we taking the Texans seriously in the South or no?
You have to, the way they're playing. They've already beaten the Jags. They beat Cincinnati. I have to at least consider them when I'm looking at who's going to win that division.
Okay. Well, are we taking the Vikings seriously then in the North? Now, I'm not. I've already given the division to the Lions. I did it over a month ago.
I'm not taking them seriously as a division winner, but I'm telling you they're a playoff team.
Okay. Because remember,
they haven't played yet. They've got 2 of the last 3 games are Vikings and Detroit.
Yeah. I mean, the Vikings end the season by playing the Lions twice and hosting the Packers.
And the Lions have obviously those 2 games, and they have the Cowboys in the middle.
So,
no, the Lions are going to be playing the Cowboys with an opportunity for a 1 seed.
Look at you. Look at you.
I text Trent after the game yesterday. Trent's a big Lions fan. Yesterday was his birthday. I said, they got you your win on your birthday. That's all he wanted. He told me on Friday, all I want is the Lions to win on my birthday. I will have a happy birthday if the Lions win. They did that for him. And we text back and forth, and he says, you tell me where the losses are on the schedule the rest of the way.
Whoa, somebody is feeling it.
They play 1 team with a record above 500 the rest of the way. It's the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, I'm sorry, and the Vikings. And it's hard to take the Vikings seriously.
David, I don't think they're going to win all those games. My point is just they're going to be favored in every single game the rest of the way except Cowboys and maybe at Minnesota. But we'll see.
No, I understand, Trent, but I am just saying out loud, think of the job that Dan Campbell and that general manager have done. They have erased multiple generations of trauma so that you are saying out loud, oh, show me where the losses are.
David, it's gotten to the point where my mother knows that I have the Sunday ticket. She came over yesterday to watch the Lions.
What?
And she is already an expert on Lions football, which makes watching the games with her an absolute joy.
And by joy, you mean stab me in the neck.
First, I had the Steeler game with my wife at 1.
That's an expert. Right?
Oh, only one that knows more about the Steelers is her mom, and I've got that coming here this weekend.
Wait, it's not even Mike Tomlin, huh?
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
No, got it. Okay.
So I had that at 1.
And then your
followed
mom
by
on the
Lions
Lions.
with my mom.
Golly.
And I wonder why my daughter takes her tablet and just leaves the room. I think she's got the right idea.
I was going to say pretty soon, so's her father. Well, it's going to be a different kind of tablet. Hoo-yah.
So, yes, the football experts are out.
Oh, look at that.
The expectations running high for a lot of fan bases right now.
And now you got Bucks fan going, hey, hold on a second. We're right back in this sucker.
What about us?
We win our 4 division games, post 8-9, 5-1 in the division. I challenge you, New Orleans. Do better than that. Yeah.
That Atlanta loss is going to come back and bite them, David.
I think that's the Texans' loss. I know it's a division game and it's more important than but man, oh man. I mean, come on. You score with 46 seconds left to take a 4-point lead. They've got to score a touchdown, not just come down, kick a field goal, beat you in overtime. I mean, come on. 46 seconds left. Golly. If that's what keeps them out of the playoffs, that's going to be tough to sleep on.
But the Bucks with a very important win.
Yeah.
Really keeping their hope alive in the division yesterday with the dominant performance over Tennessee.
But, what have the Vikings done here? Outside of beating the Niners, they've won a lot of games against teams that had comparable records. Okay, Tampa Bay's got that opportunity. 2 against Carolina, Atlanta, New Orleans, Indianapolis. These are games. They can win these games. Come on now. Nobody's above 500 that we just mentioned. Tampa can't win these games.
Along the network, we thank you for listening. We'll do it again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. The Diamond District bonus hour is next on Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Jason and Todd are excited to kick off the holiday season at the Diamond District with their biggest diamond event of the year. This weekend, November 17th, 18th, and 19th, Jason and Todd rolled out the red carpet for you. Come view the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. Many jewelers talk about selection, but no one walks the walk like Jason and Todd. With over 6,000 square feet of showroom filled with stunning fine jewelry. They'll be in the store all weekend to work with you personally and make sure you get the lowest prices on all fine jewelry, GIA certified diamonds, diamond engagement rings, bracelets, diamond studs, and more. Takori, America's top bridal designer, will join the Diamond District with her entire collection of over 500 new bridal designs. If you're in love and want diamonds, now is the perfect time to visit the Diamond District. Jason and Todd will also throw in 3 years interest-free financing on what they promise to be the lowest prices on diamonds anywhere.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Buried in bourbon. Did he have a good time? Did the fans behave? Were you concerned as a dad, or was it a good experience? Because most NFL games are not a great family experience these days. Canada relief. About 5 years ago, the NFL thought teams were tanking at the end of the year, and therefore they had too many meaningless games. And so Roger Goodell changed the last 2 weeks of the year are nothing but division games, because he thought division teams don't like each other and that they'll always play hard against a division rival. And so that's why the NFL the last 2 weeks is a bunch of division games. Good. I'm glad, Bourbon. Trent, 24, 25?
4.
Okay.
24.
It's not that great birthday. You can't go run a car yet.
Yeah, I'm running out of milestone birthdays.
25 is the only one that's really worth the crap anymore. It's the only birthday you have left that's worth the shit.
Why is it 25? That's so random. Do they just not want college kids renting cars?
Yeah, I don't know why they determined 25 is the age to rent a car.
That's odd.
I don't either.
I've also always thought 21 is an odd age for drinking. It could just be 20. And then it's 19 in Canada. Like, nothing makes sense. It's 19 in a lot of, foreign countries.
Mhm.
But why 19? You want to do an adult, just do 18 or 20.
Out of high school, I think it's the 19.
Okay.
Well, and in Canada, too,
that makes sense.
And they have grade 13 in Canada, too. You go to high school another year in Canada.
Very interesting. I didn't know that.
Right? Canada Relief, still grade 13?
Except for hockey players, they leave early. They go on the road. So I'm renting a car yesterday. And Buffalo is one of the few airports in which you actually have to stop. And there's no, like, you just, you walk to your car because you've got status or what have you. So they asked me, are you going to Canada? And I said, no. And apparently, like, certain kinds of cars are not allowed in Canada. Like, I said, why does it matter? He said, well, I can't give you an SUV. What? I mean, that sounds a little crazy. I said, no, I'm good.
Almost a perfect fantasy weekend for me. Won my football game, won my hockey game, and came a couple points away from cashing on daily fantasy.
I only do football, but I was flawless because I had Montgomery. I had Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
So that worked out for me because he went off and the Lions still won. It was Mahomes' bye week, and I survived. I had Heineke. He did enough for me.
I got to admit, I don't know if the Lions defensively can win more than one playoff game.
Yeah, they look lost at times. But then, if they're forcing turnovers, I think
that's anybody, though.
Yeah, that's true. But they do.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think that they're. What's very good in the NFL this year, though?
5 seconds, by the way. Sorry, David.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, 6 until 9. But hey, we're just a local show. 9 to 10, baby. Brought to you by Todd and Jason and the guys at the Diamond District. You said this is the sale week, right?
Oh, yeah. Corey's bringing their whole bridal selection in. Big sale, big selection. Huge weekend. If you were ever in the market to get that diamond engagement ring, this would be the weekend to do so.
So it's just rings, though. It's not dresses, right? When you talk about bringing the whole, I think about, dresses. It's just rings.
Why would you think about dresses at a jewelry store?
Well, I understand, but when you said Ja'Cory, you start thinking about name brands. I just wanted to make sure it was just diamonds, not dresses. That's all.
The Diamond District.
Okay, I'm just making sure. That's all.
Are you planning on wearing a wedding dress next year for Halloween?
Listen, I am done with all weddings. Okay, all weddings.
Yeah.
No, well, I'm done. No, I'm done. No, I'm done. No, no, I'm done. No, let her know it too. I go, hey, I got a mulligan, you got a mulligan. Nothing wrong with a mulligan. Okay, but you only get one. And it's on the first tee, just so you know. You don't just pull it out. All of a sudden, you're playing well. You get to 14. You put a 6-iron in the water on a par 3. No. You don't use it there. Get a first tee mulligan. That's it.
I played with a group of guys that had a great rule for the first tee mulligan.
Okay.
You could hit the mulligan, but you had to use it. So if you hit, you had a 75%er out there. It's okay. It's in the rough. You might be able to make par, but it's not going to be that easy. Once you stick the tee in the ground for the mulligan, you're playing that ball no matter where it goes.
Oh, totally. In fact, I would be, oh man, we'd get into it. I'd be like, wait a minute, you're using a mulligan for that? Come on now. You don't use a mulligan for a C-. No, you use a mulligan when you top it and it goes 8 yards, or you snap hook it out of bounds. That's when you use a mulligan. Not because you're in the left rough. Give me a break. Oh, I'd be heckling them all the way to their second shot.
Haven't seen a mulligan in 8 years. Place I play, guys I play with, it isn't even thought of. It's never a consideration. I love it. Some new guys show up 2 off the first tee and they get a look like, what the hell? What world are you living in, sir? Not here.
Do they give them a look like, listen, I know people. We can revoke your membership, okay? Don't think we can't. By the time you get to the clubhouse, you'll be ex-members. Got it? All right, so big sale this weekend, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, Diamond District. Todd and Jason and the gang. All right, good to know. Good to know. We're getting near the holidays. Sometimes people want to buy diamonds in and around the holidays. Just saying. I've heard that. Man. So are we off the Ravens, Jags? Who is it who suffered a loss yesterday that now you're reconsidering? Bandwagon.
Don't you have to reconsider the Jags a little bit? They stepped up in class and just failed.
Well, we both picked the Niners, and I'm huge on the Jags this year, as everybody knows. I have Jacksonville and Detroit as my number 1 seeds. So I'm on the wagon. I'm driving the wagon in Jacksonville. And
wagon just veered into a ditch.
Well, the wagon has trouble at the tackle position. And this seems to be a bad defensive front to have problems on the offensive line against. And that's what I thought we saw yesterday. That defensively, a lot of talk about Purdy in the offense, but defensively, they weren't getting off the field. They weren't getting sacks. They weren't therefore forcing turnovers, getting the lead, playing with the league, constantly putting pressure on the quarterback. It all goes downhill. They weren't doing that. And so then it started going the opposite way on offense. Purdy having to play from behind. Trent Williams not on the field. Deebo Samuel not on the field. All of a sudden this team can be defensed. Right. So yesterday they got back to Mark defensively. They annihilated the Jags.
Yeah, basically in the defensive huddle, it was, let's meet at Trevor here in 8 seconds.
Totally.
Because it's going to take a while for him to go through a snap count, and then we'll be there in about 3.
And so that's what I thought we saw yesterday. The Niners, who may have the best defensive front if healthy. Don't you think that they're kind of where the Eagles were last year in terms of defensive lineman depth, right? After the Eagles, Sue came out of semi-retirement and they made the acquisition, was it Quinn or what have you? And the Eagles went 7-8 deep along the defensive line last year. It was like, damn, what are we going to do with this? Well, the Niners go like 7 deep now with Chase Young to the mix.
That's just scary up front, what they did yesterday. It seems difficult to block.
Especially 3rd and 6, if you know what I mean. You throw an incompletion and you run it for 4 yards to try to make it manageable, and then they are just teeing off. They got defensive ends they can put in the middle, which means you got guards trying to block the quickness of defensive ends in the middle of the line. And then, of course, they got Bosa and Armstead and others on the ends. It's like, oh, blank. What are we going to do with this? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That team was a problem yesterday. But it's a funny league.
Do you think less of the Ravens today than you did heading into yesterday?
No, because the Ravens are really good at blowing 2-3 regular season games a year. And now this is 3. I mean, the Ravens should be 10-0.
They should be.
They really should be. The Ravens had fourth quarter leads in the 3 games they lost. The Ravens should be 10-0. They dominated the Steelers for 3 quarters and only led by 4 points because John Harbaugh had an out-of-body coaching experience that day. They were down 8 starters and had the Colts beat, and the Colts kicker made
18
every field goal. Yeah, all beyond 50 yards too. I mean, it's the only time in the history that the Ravens didn't have the best kicker in the last 10 years. And then yesterday, come on, they get 14 up on the Browns with 10 minutes to go. So, no, I'm okay. I thought Chris Landry made a good point, though. When it was time to put the game away, they couldn't run the ball. Now, granted, it's Cleveland.
It's a really good defense they're playing against.
Some think it's the best. I think it's top 3. I think it's, some combination of Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and the Jets. But, I mean, they couldn't run the ball.
And now, after yesterday, it certainly seems that even without playing, that once again, the AFC is going through Kansas City.
Oh, I know. Pat Kerwin's going to be so sad. 6 years in a row, he has to go to Arrowhead for the AFC Championship game. He just wants to stay in a different hotel. Although the airport is, wow. If anybody out there is in charge of a city and they're building a new airport, call the people who did the Kansas City airport. That went from the worst airport for a major city in America.
Horrible. And I had not flown into Kansas City in 20 years, and I know for a fact that it hadn't changed.
No, it was awful, horrendous. It was without question the worst airport of what you consider a major city, having a major pro sports franchise, those type of cities. It was the worst airport in the country. It's really nice. Wow. So anyway, yeah, it looks like all roads. Although I will think the Chiefs and the Eagles are playing a week from tonight. Obviously, somebody's got to lose. I know it could end in a tie. They don't. All right. And then what will happen? Because the Eagles have a quite meet on their schedule after that Chiefs game. And if the Chiefs lose, then it's a 3rd in the L column, which will make them tied with potentially the Baltimores and the Clevelands and the Jacksonvilles of the world. And
here's the thing, they have the tiebreaker with Jacksonville and Miami.
They do.
Head-to-head.
Absolutely. But I don't think they play the Ravens.
I don't believe they do.
They don't. Plus, Baltimore has 3 losses in the AFC to Kansas City's 1. If it comes down to something
exactly. But that's a game where if the Chiefs beat the Eagles a week from tonight, you got to think they're the one. Because they have so many tiebreaker advantages, and they'd be at least a game ahead in the loss column heading post-Thanksgiving.
David?
Yeah.
The Chiefs are the one. I don't care what happens against Philadelphia. They lose that game, they are still going to be the one. Because Baltimore's got a really difficult schedule the rest of the way in. Much more difficult than what Kansas City has. So to me, even with a loss, because Kansas City will own the tiebreaker over the other 2 teams, that's what happened yesterday to me. Baltimore losing said, hey, Kansas City, you're going to host the AFC Championship again.
Well, and the other thing is, with Houston having beaten Cincinnati, did Baltimore blow the North yesterday? If you know what I mean. If they had won, they're 2 games up in the loss column on Cleveland. They're a game up in the loss column on Pittsburgh. The rematch against the Steelers is in Baltimore. And think about how, they'd almost be playing Thursday night. Don't they have the Bengals Thursday?
They have the Bengals at home Thursday night.
Oh, how interesting is that game now? Bengals, by the way, we talked about the Bills late last week. Are the Bills going to make the playoffs? Take a look at Buffalo's schedule the rest of the way. Take a look at the Bengals schedule. After that loss,
Ravens, Steelers, Jags are the next 3.
Yeah. Hello.
Colts and Vikings in the middle, and then Steelers, Chiefs, Browns to finish.
Yeah. Okay. We sure Joe Burrow and company are getting there? Could we have Josh Allen and Joe Burrow missing the playoffs?
I think we could have one, but not both.
I think we could have both.
For C.J. Stroud in the postseason.
What if it's Aiden O'Connell?
Stop it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Miller and Moulton. Aiden O'Connell. What are you trying to pull over there?
2 in a row, baby. They're smoking cigars, violating laws and everything. They're the Raiders. They don't care.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Jason and Todd are excited to kick off the holiday season at the Diamond District with their biggest diamond event of the year. This weekend, November 17th, 18th, and 19th, Jason and Todd roll out the red carpet for you. Come view the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. Many jewelers talk about selection, but no one walks the walk like Jason and Todd. With over 6,000 square feet of showroom filled with stunning fine jewelry. They'll be in the store all weekend to work with you personally and make sure you get the lowest prices on all fine jewelry, GIA certified diamonds, diamond engagement rings, bracelets, diamond studs, and more. Takori, America's top bridal designer, will join the Diamond District with her entire collection of over 500 new bridal designs. If you're in love and want diamonds, now is the perfect time to visit the Diamond District. Jason and Todd will also throw in 3 years interest-free financing on what they promise to be the lowest prices on diamonds anywhere.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Mississippi State just fired their coach.
That's not surprising. The word was, first off, they got humiliated this weekend, and they got humiliated by a guy who just got fired, right?
Right.
The talk was that he was probably going to be let go at the end of the year. By the way, he will be the new defense coordinator at USC.
Was he the interim when Mike Leach passed? And then
Yeah,
they just
he was defensive coordinator. They promoted him for the bowl, and then they gave him the gig.
And then they took the gig away.
Well, they didn't really want to give him the gig.
Yeah.
They kind of couldn't find somebody that they wanted.
Yeah, and you don't want to jump the gun and spend all that money on someone you don't really like.
Hey, listen, Mark, if you're Mississippi State, you call Dan Mullen?
I would.
I would. By the way, his wife loved Starkville.
Unders are 88, 60, and 1 this season. Night game unders are 24 and 7. That's a problem.
Over under 47 tonight.
The bet is the under.
With the 7-point spread. So Vegas is staying 27-20. Windy tonight. That's what I'm told. Mid-40s. It was below freezing when I woke up in Kansas City. It was like 30, 31. I was like, damn.
Hey, Mark, when you end the StreamYard, does it save the video for you?
Yes.
Because I'm thinking if I can't find the first hour for today, I have everything else so far, but if I can't get that first hour, could you send me that video and then I can cut it up from there? For the podcast, I mean. Just to make sure we don't miss anything. Also, I think there's a way that you can just send the audio too, so it doesn't save as a huge file. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
It's not a huge deal. Just want to make sure we get everything up.
Well, in fairness, Logic Man, Felipe's like last 4 or 5 months, he was working 2 jobs.
Oh, yeah. I could never do what Felipe was doing. I mean, he was working 7-day weeks, too. He didn't have days off because his weekend for one job overlapped with this one.
Yep.
Crazy. Yes, Adam, I will do that. Sorry, sometimes I forget.
Trent, that's when you could tell there's a tough crowd. when you got our Twitch crowd going, listen, Trent, here's how you do the damn job.
Yeah,
okay?
you got to put the name.
Okay?
What are you
right?
doing, Trent?
We have a certain level of expectation. You got it, buddy?
Look, I know you're new here and everything.
But if you're going to stay, right.
Here's the expectation.
Right. Meanwhile, Miller and Moulton are like, hey, he showed up. That's fantastic.
Yeah, he hasn't even come close to falling asleep yet, DC.
I know.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Mark, were you ever jealous? Like when you were running, in marketing departments of a couple of hockey teams, were you ever jealous of another team and they did something and you go, oh, man, I should have done that. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm doing that right now.
All the time, David.
I ask because I think Mississippi State is angry with themselves because Texas A&M beat them to the punch. So they're like, well, hell, they fired their coach, and that guy just beat us by like 6 touchdowns. So, well, we're definitely firing ours. I mean, what would that say about us if they beat us by 6 touchdowns and we keep him around? So Mike Leach's replacement is replaceable.
Very. And he's now looking for a job. Zach Arnett has been fired by Mississippi State.
2 things.
Man, this is, college football just had enough with the NFL firing coaches midseason. College football said, we can do this too. We can start firing guys. It's the 4th midseason firing.
Yeah, they're not waiting until, Black Monday, college version. No, no, we're doing this now. 2 things. Zach Arnett was a defensive coordinator, fairly highly thought of. Don't be surprised if Zach Arnett ends up at USC. Just throwing that out there. Number 2, Mark, you're Mississippi State, and I'm being very serious. Do you call Dan Mullen?
I would. When have they had that kind of success?
You got to go back to a couple of Jackie Sherrill teams, and that's last century. I mean, it worked. What Dan did, Dan's approach in Starkville worked. Now, it's a tougher and deeper SEC than the one that he had success at Mississippi State in. Now Texas and Oklahoma are coming to the party. There's no East versus West anymore. I mean, the job's actually gotten harder, and I didn't know if that was possible. But, I mean, who do you think is going to come to Starkville? If we think Arkansas on its best day is the 10th best job in the SEC going forward, where's Mississippi State on its best day going forward?
12th?
Really? Besides Vandy, you tell me a better situation than seriously.
So,
I mean, South Carolina or Mississippi State, where would you rather be going forward?
That's really close. Probably South Carolina.
Exactly. Kentucky or Mississippi State?
Kentucky.
You can go across the border in Ohio. 20 kids every year. Who are we missing here? Besides Vandy, tell me a situation that's worse.
No, that might be the worst job in the SEC.
It's out of 16, it's 15.
Well, and I say the worst because there's no expectations at Vanderbilt.
Right.
You're at the next best program than Vanderbilt, and you actually have expectations that are built in.
I know, which is crazy. And you know why you have expectations? Because Dan Mullen had you ranked number 1 in the country in November of 2014. So he's the cause of the problem. Might as well bring him back. Hey, you deal with these expectations. You created them, buddy. Just wondering, though, all these SEC teams getting rid of their coaches. I think some Gator money people start looking around going, well, what the hell are we doing? Why are we sitting around?
Should be the reason that you don't, David. It should be the reason that the boosters can then figure out that this program's now set itself back 3 years. This program set itself back 3 years. Do we really want to set our program back another 3 years by getting rid of this coach?
And I could be a sarcastic blankety blank and go, are you sure we're setting our program back? ...
And I would say that's a cute line, and I appreciate it because I like it.
I mean, if I don't win one of my next 2 games, we're going to have 3 straight losing seasons. At Florida, by the way. Not FAU, FIU. Not FAMU. Not Bethune. 3 straight losing seasons at Florida. And you're looking me straight in the face and telling me, if you do this, you're going to set the program back. And I'm going to look at you like, are you not paying attention? By the way, somebody nominated Missouri. Missouri or Mississippi State?
It's another really close one.
Which, by the way, shows the job Eli Drinkowitz has done here the last few years.
I think Mississippi State might be a better job.
Okay.
So maybe it's 14th.
But you get the idea, the picture we're painting here. I'd call Dan Mullen.
With Arkansas and Mississippi State and Missouri, South Carolina, Kentucky. That's where you are.
I'd call Dan Mullen. But anyway, so we got another opening. A&M and Boise State yesterday. Mississippi State today. Who was the other one?
Sparty.
Who?
Mel Tucker at Sparty.
Oh, yeah, that's right. By the way, think about what Tony Petitti has inherited. He got this job in May, okay? Think about what has happened. They said, Tony, this is a cush job. Hell, you can go on a European vacation. We could add USC and UCLA without you. That's what happened to the last guy. This is a, cush job. This will be easier than running MLB Network, honestly. And you already did that. This will be fine. So think about what's happened since then. All right. Mel Tucker, that whole fiasco. Obviously, Michigan and Harbaugh. But I'm missing one other.
Well, there's
Pat
other
Fitzgerald.
versions
Pat Fitzgerald in Northwestern.
Right.
Yeah. Think about this. In the last 90 days, Fitz, Mel Tucker, Harbaugh, and Michigan. At what point does Petitti turn around and go, hey, when does this job get easy?
Well, and he's had two at Michigan. He's had the whole Hamburglar incident for the first suspension.
It was a cheeseburger, but go on. Don't you think Tony Petitti is mad at somebody? You guys told me this was easy. The other guy was an absentee commissioner. That's what you told me. What the heck? Just
And that's when the Big Ten presidents are just telling him to shut up and cash the check.
Well, that's what I would be saying. I'd have T-shirts made of that. I'd be passing them out at all the board meetings. Hey, just if you guys want to know where I am on these issues, just here you go. Okay. I couldn't fit it on a hat. Otherwise, they'd be handing out hats.
So that's 4 coaches, and you throw Fitzgerald into the mix, who got gassed before the season start. That's already 5 jobs.
Right. There you go. 2 in the Big Ten, 2 in the SEC, by the way. Not that things are different in those conferences or anything. No. By the way, Chip Kelly may be in trouble. He lost at home on Saturday. If he loses to USC, I'm not so sure the calls get returned. Just saying.
What, for the 15th best program in the Big Ten?
Well, it's because the Big Ten will have how many teams? Just at least 18, but hell, we think they're just getting started.
They're just getting warmed up. ACC, we're looking at you.
Serious question. I mentioned them earlier. If you're Dabo and A&M calls you, the future of you built it. You built the monster, okay? And we all know, but Clemson, much like Florida State and a few others, where are they going to be in a few years versus A&M? If A&M called, you're Dabo, I'm A&M, I call you. You
all
interested?
Right, Clemson in the SEC or A&M in the SEC? Which one's a better job?
Right.
A&M's got more money.
Yes, they do.
And it's not close.
Facilities pretty close to even because Clemson's built, a Dolly World there. It's amazing. So just throwing that out there. Listen, when you pay a guy $77 million to go away, you're trying to win the presser.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd, with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Trent, are you on Twitch yet? But on our feed, or do you have a Twitch account?
I have one, but I'm not on your, I guess. Yeah,
All
I
right.
just pull it up every day like a viewer.
All right.
That's what I've been doing.
Okay. No, that's what I'm saying. I want to add you as a moderator. Then you can just go in and just do me a favor. Just comment in the Twitch chat room so I can get your name.
Okay.
There we go. How do I do what I want to do? All right. I thought it was easier. Ooh, mod. Yeah, you're now a mod. You should be able to go in and pull it all yourself now.
Okay. Sounds good. Probably have to wait till the end, and then I'll download the whole thing and cut it up. Thanks for doing that.
Oh, no, I should have done that right away. So I think. That would be, DC, that would really, I think it would all fall on Inside the Room. I don't think that we should have anything to do with that. I think that should be its own Twitch award program.
The Twitchies. That's the end of the year.
So we've had this little Christmas party for the past few years where we just invite people that have kids. You know, the whole.
Right.
With kids, she kept inviting people.
Uh-oh.
Oh, like 100 people are invited.
What?
25 families, basically 4 a family.
What if half of them come?
What if all of them come?
David is speechless.
You know how much cooking I have to do for this?
Well, I'm trying to think of how much real estate you have.
Already thinking about getting a slip and slide for the kids.
Wow.
She's like, well, they won't all come. Everybody's responding with yes.
Of course they are. Yeah.
It's gonna be like
they have kids. It's a place to just go just run into the fence, dust yourself off for 2 hours. Let the adults have adult time. Yeah. I mean, I'd turn around and look at her and go, so when we get those things, how many of those do we say no to? Holy blank. Okay, Bang Bang, you're dead. You're talking about Mark Miller here. Now, Chipotle is damn near fine dining for me. But to get Mark to do Chipotle, he'd have to be kidnapped for multiple days.
Right now, I've got 20 pounds of protein planned. I'm hoping that's enough.
Holy. The debate in our household is we're having 13 over for Thanksgiving, and my daughter and her husband want to do the sides. And my wife thinks that's great. And I looked at her and I go, how do I say this? What if I don't trust them? Because they are always last minute. And, I go, well, what if they half-ass it and they don't make enough? And
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes until the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. It's the final segment of the Diamond District bonus hour on this Monday. Hell, we've already had a coach fired during the show today. We are just getting the week started. I'm in Buffalo, Monday Night Football, Broncos and Bills. Buffalo a 7-point favorite. They haven't covered in their last 5 games. Just saying.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1789 we start. Ben Franklin writes, "Nothing is certain but death and taxes." It was wise then, it's wise now.
I mean, certain sports franchises have tried to add their name to the list for long periods of time, but not quite, Ben Franklin period of time.
1856, Big Ben first chimes. Look, kids, Parliament. 1940, Fantasia, the Disney animated film, premiered. 1968, as a rookie, Alvin Hayes in his debut scores 54 as the San Diego Rockets beat the Detroit Pistons.
The Big E!
1982, Ray Mancini beats Dooku Kim.
Oh, changed boxing.
In the 14th round in a TKO. Kim would die 4 days later.
That was nationally televised too. CBS afternoons. Gil Clancy was Tim Ryan and Gil Clancy doing the fights. Yeah.
WBC would shorten title bouts to 12 rounds. The WBA and WO would follow, and the IBF would follow then not until 1989. Today in 1987, Sonny and Cher performed together for the final time, singing "I Got You, Babe" on Late Night with David Letterman.
That was. Did you watch it live? Because I was. Wasn't it like one of those magical moments when he kind of conned them into doing it? And Sonny was willing, and Cher was kind of, oh, really? And Letterman, because Cher also had already she had gone back and forth with Letterman over the years. She asked.
Put her on notice, basically, and they delivered, and it was very cool.
That was in 87?
Yeah.
So she had just won her Academy Award recently. So she was like on top.
And she had barely any clothes on. They had to come out with a big men's sport coat and say, "Here, you got to sit in this. You're covering nothing."
Today in 92, Riddick Bowe wins the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship crown on points over Holyfield in their first of 3 fights.
That's the trilogy nobody talks about because we don't talk about heavyweight fights anymore. That trilogy was awesome. mean, it wasn't Ali Frazier.
Nothing.
But that might be the second best trilogy in the color TV era in the heavyweight division. You probably got to go back to the 20s, 30s, and 40s to get a trilogy outside Ali Frazier as good as the Bo Holyfield trilogy was.
Today in 2002, Eminem releases Lose Yourself from the soundtrack of 8 Mile. It was the first rap song to win the Academy Award for Best Original Song. Robert Louis Stevenson, Buck O'Neill, Gary Marshall, Mel Stoudemire, all born today. Gilbert Perrault is 73, Whoopi Goldberg is 68, Vinny Testaverde is 60, and Jimmy Kimmel is 56. What did I miss, David?
Do you think Testaverde could be called this week and fill in on Sunday and win?
Win.
I mean, at what age do you think teams stopped calling him, saying, hey, can you fill in on short notice?
Late 40s.
Let's see. I got 3 things. Well, actually, I do want to bring in something that I just find hysterical. I don't want to say in the 50s we were kind of obsessed with the whole if you're a communist or not in this country, but the Indiana Textbook Commission charged that Robin Hood was a communist in 1953.
Picking up books that you can and can't read in the state of Florida this day is an interesting subject, David.
Well, it was Indiana, and it was 70 years ago today. I'm just saying, everybody goes a little nuts from time to time. So Daryl Dawkins broke his first backboard today in 79.
All right.
We had the Vietnam Memorial dedicated today in 82. And I thought I had one other. It was 3 years ago today that Jeter named Kim Ang general manager of the Marlins.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Virginia, where Brianna Mills was at the 7-Eleven. Customer in front of her had trouble paying for her groceries. So she decided to pay for the other customer's groceries. Then it was her turn at the counter. And she said, give me a strike it rich scratch off. Karma can work both ways. That's the good karma, because that scratcher turned out to be a $150,000 winner.
Man, aren't you getting a little annoyed? I know I am.
No, because I don't buy lottery tickets. I love when people win money. I love hearing this story. I think it's great. She paid for the woman's groceries. She bought a ticket. She won. That's the way things are supposed to work. That should make you feel good, not angry.
I'm not angry, and I do feel good for her, and I'm glad that she, played it forward and all that sort of thing. It's just, it would be nice. $4, I think, is the most money we've ever won doing the damn lottery tickets.
When's the last time you bought a scratcher?
Well, I will say I don't do that very often.
There you go. Buy a scratcher today.
You know what? I think I will. I think I'll have some wings while I'm in Buffalo. Could I be any more of a tourist? And I'll buy a scratcher.
We go to Massachusetts for the bad, where Danielle Alexandrov got some mail. She's going through her boxes. She said everything was normal until I get a box that's very heavy. She opened it up. It was a box of scratchers. She got sent $20,000 worth of scratchers. Problem is they were supposed to go to the market nearby. The store had no comment. She gave all the tickets back, did not scratch a single one. Could you do that if you got $20,000 worth of scratchers for free?
Okay.
Would you be a good guy and give them back, or would you be there with a quarter just going bat blank crazy?
Okay. I'll be brutally honest, and I'm a very goody two-shoes honorable person. I'm the guy who, if I found a bag of 20,000 in it, would return the bag, wouldn't keep any for myself and what have you. I would probably rip off about 10 scratchers and just say, what the hell?
I'm not really the good guy. I'm just afraid to get caught is why I give them back.
What are they going to do? I returned 19,990 of these scratchers. What are they going to get mad at 10 of them? I think I would have snarfed, 10 away.
For the ugly, we go to Marion County and Winn-Dixie, where Sarah Howe was at the grocery store. And while she was checking out, she told the cashier she needed to grab another item. But she needed to take her shopping cart with her so, and I quote, she could balance while she walked off to get the other item.
What?
Apparently, she couldn't walk without the cart without having the right balance, David. But she walked out of the store. She said, I need to get one more item, and then just left with the cart and took it right to the car. She was arrested for trying to steal nearly $330 worth of groceries. What can't you fix, David?
Stupid, Mark.
And that certainly is stupid. And it is the ugly on today's Good, Bad, and Ugly on November the 13th, 2023.
So we have 2 hockey games tonight. And one of them's in Edmonton. And over the weekend, they thought they were like an SEC school. They fired their coach.
About time.
13 games into the season, they're 3-9-1, which is a hell of a record when people think you should be contending for Lord Stanley's Cup and you have the best player in the world. So they fired him for some AHL coach in Hartford with the Rangers, Chris Knobloch. So he'll make his debut tonight against the Islanders, which is funny because Islander fans, and I think they're in the midst of a 4-game losing streak, they've been chanting for both their coach and their general manager to be fired at home games. So the Islanders are thrilled to be going on the road. Colorado and the Kraken are the other game. NBA.
Give it to fans these days. We're not just asking for coaches anymore. You got Steeler fans that are chanting fire Matt Canada.
Right.
You got Islander fans that are chanting to fire the general manager.
Lou must go. Lou must go. Right.
I mean, give them creativity points for certain.
Which, of course, is hysterical. He was the general manager that brought him back from nothing just a few years ago. They went to the conference final in back-to-back years. Okay, but 2 years later, he's a bum. I don't care. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a bum. Get rid of him. 4 games in the NBA. None of them nationally televised, unless you count NBA TV. They have a doubleheader. Knicks Celtics early. Knicks are playing pretty well, actually. I'll tell you what. I'll take the Knicks at 9.5 tonight in Boston. I'm just saying. And the 10 o'clock game, Cleveland, who just went into Golden State and won over the weekend, by the way, they're a 2.5-point favorite in Sacramento.
Yeah, but David, at 6:30, Michigan's taking on the Johnnies on FS1. College hoop, baby. 6:30. We got our 6:30 games back.
You know what else we have? The Chips go to Florida State. Fire up.
FGCU's at Pitt. Pitt's a 9.5-point favorite at home against the Eagles.
Canes are hosting FIU. Stetson's in Houston, another Florida A-Sun school on the road. 8:30 FS1, by the way. Mark, why don't we just keep the FS1 doubleheader going? Since you watched the 6:30 game, Michigan and St. John's, why don't you just stick around for Purdue and Xavier at 8:30?
Should be a pretty good game.
Yeah, you got the big kid from Purdue who's always fun to watch.
Purdue's a big favorite of that. Maybe Xavier doesn't have as much. I see that at 17.5. That kind of surprised me.
So, and then, of course, you got this little thing, this little shindig, Monday Night Football. Denver. Now, I will say this, much like the Raiders had picked themselves up off the floor here, Denver's won 2 in a row. They had a bye week. If you at any point in time thought that, that's probably a pretty good team that's woefully underachieving, don't you think you're going to get a really good effort and performance from Denver tonight, right? 2 in a row, coming off a bye. Haven't felt this good about themselves all year. They're in Buffalo. Bills are struggling. Bills are 0-5 against the number, by the way, in their last 5 games. Then they're a 7-point home favorite tonight. Just saying. And what was that stat you had during a commercial break a couple of breaks ago? Over, under, how well the unders are doing this year?
Unders are doing unbelievably. 88-60 are unders, and 20-7 for night games are unders.
Wow. Do you believe in trends? Okay. Don't you have to take the Broncos and the points? And if you could get the half, because at times it's been 7.5. half.
Yeah, the only trend this is telling me to take is to play the under tonight. It didn't say anything about taking underdogs. It said unders.
Okay, well, but if it's under, usually it's close. Why? Not as much scoring. Over under tonight's 47, by the way. Vegas has the game 27-20 Bills.
And you said a lot of wind expected tonight.
It's supposed to be windy. In middle of the day here, it's supposed to pick up, yes. Now, Josh Allen and the Bills shouldn't have a problem with it. It'll be interesting if Russ is impacted. Here's my question. We going to have a Von Miller sighting tonight? Because
are we going to have a Buffalo defense sighting tonight? Because since the injuries, that defense has not been effective at all, David.
Well, first game with Rasul Douglas, right? So maybe that'll make things a little better. But Mark, they need Von Miller. They're not going to replace Milano. The secondary is not going to be whole this year. You know what's another thing I'm wondering? They're not playing DeMar Hamlin. I'm wondering if emotionally this team needs DeMar Hamlin in the lineup. I mean, can't have him play special teams, can't have him be the reserve safety. I mean, he was starting for you a year ago. I'm just wondering. I mean, Mark, in other sports, I know they kind of put guys in an emotional spark plug and what have you. I'm just wondering if you're the Bills. That last roster spot, you're going to activate at game time. You sure it shouldn't be DeMar Hamlin?
I'm wondering if he's still on the team and shouldn't be. The fact that they haven't played him.
Yeah, maybe.
Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Thanks for spending a little time with us. We'll do it all over tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. right here, Miller and Moulton.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again,